Welcome to Horror Cinema Obsession. Here, we dive deep into the chilling depths of horror cinema, from the critically acclaimed scares to the laughably ludicrous, and even the delightfully obscure. Now, let's join our hosts, Richard and Angelus, as they share their love, laughs, and sometimes sheer disbelief at the world of horror movies.
All right. This is Horror Cinema Obsession, guys. Welcome in. Welcome back. We love you, long-time listeners. If you're first-time listeners, we cover horror movies and such, and just kind of bullshit and have fun while doing it. Hopefully that comes across, but hopefully you enjoy it. I'm your host, Richard, and this is my co-host, beautiful co-host,
Angelus.
Wow, you took a pause there.
I thought you were going to say my name. I was waiting to be like, hola.
Hola.
And I was like, I don't hear my name coming.
Okay. We're 36 episodes in here, man.
I don't know. It's different every episode, I feel like.
We should have good chemistry by now.
We do.
Like we know what we're doing, but clearly we don't. But we thank the few that like stay with us and are true with us, so we appreciate you. Anyways, man, what a week, right?
What a week.
It's been kind of, winter is definitely here. We got sheets of ice.
It's fucking dark.
Yeah. Our cat's whiny. Like, oh my God.
She doesn't like the winter. She's officially with us for a year.
Oh, has it been a year?
I think it's like today.
No, she wasn't with us at Christmas.
She was. She was just hiding.
Oh, shit.
We got her the first week of December.
God, she's such an angel. She's my princess.
Who eats flowers.
Yeah, a little welly belly. Yeah, well, that's cool. I didn't know. We should celebrate that. We should get her a little cat cake.
A cat cake.
Yeah.
We should.
Little snack cake. She likes her meat sticks.
She likes her ribs, dude.
Oh my God, dude. She was like on there. So we were having we sit at the dining table traditionally, like a family sometimes. And Wellesley joined us. It was insane. And she wanted to mow down on ribs. We gave her a little bit, but
she was fucking in heaven. She was like, whoa.
She was like Garfield on lasagna, bro.
Yeah.
Pork chops are not pork chops, but ribs are her thing, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
She won't eat any other human food or nothing. She's pretty good about that.
I know.
But
crazy.
yeah, I was like, oh, she's not going to eat it. I tried to feed her chicken before and she just sniffed it and walked away. But those ribs, that's her thing.
Something in it. Anyways, yeah, the work week's done. It was kind of busy, but man, I'm excited. We got a good one for you this week. I was surprised. I seen it when it first came out. Didn't really think much at all. It was just kind of a movie I watched. It was, but
like,
this time around it changed. I was entertained. Do you want to tell them what it is? It's 2019's
The Curse of La Llorona.
Oh, yeah. So I'll just start it off. I was entertained by this movie. We watched it twice. I watched it the first time this week not the first time I've ever watched it, but the first time I watched it this week, it was like Tuesday or Wednesday. Entertained. I watched it all the way through. It was great. The second time around, I was a little bit tired, but I watched half of it and then I just watched the other half this morning, the last 40 minutes of it. Again, perfectly entertained. I found some funny parts in it. I didn't realize it the first time around, so I thought it was great. Funny. Yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I'm interested to hear Vienna's review corner if she does it today, because I know she was kind of down on this. You had an interesting take on this.
Me?
Yeah. I felt like you enjoyed it because you were watching it with me, pretty entertained on Tuesday or Wednesday.
It has the scares. It has the jump scares. The makeup's good. But it just reminded me, it's
the pacing
same
was pretty
people
good.
of the fucking Conjuring universe. So the makeup was a little too similar to the nun.
So the aesthetics and the settings, I can see that. They use the same tones, the same hues. Yeah. So you definitely know it's not part of the Conjuring universe per se, but it's kind of in the realm. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So how'd you feel about it?
It's entertaining, but I just don't like the fucking story, man.
Okay. And you want to get into that. We're going to dive into that in this episode. I'm excited for this because this is, folks, if you haven't listened to this before, she doesn't really give us her all. Like she pulls her punches sometimes, I feel like. Where I'm all in. I just like let it a movie have it. She just kind of is like, I can see both sides.
I can't see both sides.
They had good
but
intentions.
I grew up with this, so I'm like, it's not. No.
You're passionate. You're passionate about it. It's like those folks that read books and then they watch the adaptations and they're like,
this sucks.
yeah, this movie sucks. It doesn't do the book justice. Like, it's always going to be a little different. It's hard to completely, convert that text into the movie. It's hard to pack all that detail in.
I just feel like they had the money to do like a nice original story, adapt it, do more of the cultural, more, I don't know, like some pieces were just kind of glued together and they're like, here it is. Well, why the fuck is she in LA? Why this people? But I mean, I guess that's like, a lot of movies. To me, it's just...
So, here's what it is, I think. We're in a day and age where we lack character depth. So we don't know. Like, for instance, spoiler alert, it's a trope, dad dies. We don't know how the dad dies. We don't know anything about the dad. Just that he's gone and he was a police officer. We don't have anything other than that. We don't know the kids' stories. We don't know their struggle. We don't know the mom other than she's a...
social worker?
Yeah, social worker. So we get a little bit, it just scratches the surface. We don't get enough depth in these characters to be, for me at least, invested. And that's kind of like recently with horror movies especially, but just movies across the board. We just don't get invested in these characters like we kind of used to, you know what I mean? Like even Critters 3 had some depth. We knew who Leo was. We knew his dad was a piece of shit, like his stepdad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think I know where you're coming from, but I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think that's kind of part of it, right?
No, I don't care about the fucking people here. I just want to know why they assigned La Llorona to this. I know, like, how to me it would have made more sense if she kept terrorizing Patricia instead of Ana throughout the movie. You know, because Patricia was familiar with the story. I guess it technically it's true. If a monster's real, it's going to chase whoever, regardless of whether you're familiar with it or not, and whether you believe it or not. But I feel like Patricia and Rafael had a lot more of a personal knowledge of the monster than Ana.
Well, so
in her family, because she was like, "Who is that? What?" And then she becomes the main center of the story.
And that's kind of what, and we'll get into it a little bit more. But they definitely they bastardized the movie. They made it Americanized,
Hollywoody.
I get why they did it. To appease the masses, to make it more successful over here in the States. But at the same time, I feel like they could have put the setting in Los Angeles still, right? But they could have showed a story in a Hispanic family, like completely Hispanic. Why have a white lady with Hispanic children? Like, and then the dad, they made sure they showed that he was Hispanic. Like, it was
and he was a believer.
And I like, they could have just made it more cultural, and they could have infused the culture even more in the movie. I think they pulled their punch on that, and it didn't help its case. And I know a lot of critics and a lot of people watch this movie. That was a big sore spot. And it sounds like for you too.
Well, that's the whole...
Bring in the culture, goddammit. Like they, in the beginning, they show 1673 in Mexico, right?
Yeah.
They show that initial. One, they don't show her face. We'll get into that. I'm a little irritated about that. But two, they show that in Mexico. But why couldn't they show... I feel like this movie could have took a route like... We could have seen kind of evolve in Mexico where she takes children and shows a little buffer of that in there. Mm-hmm. And then it cuts to 1970s LA. Yeah, and it shows a Hispanic family.
Yeah, they didn't have to go so much in depth as to she's been taking children for forever, for 100 years, essentially. But show her take, this is she terrorizes kids, especially because
You could have set it up to be epic.
story takes place in Latin America, like heavily in Mexico, Guatemala, Venezuela, all those like Latin American countries.
And everybody,
they know the story.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but everybody knows this story. Like growing up, this is a childhood folklore. Like it, from my research, it's transcended everywhere in Latin America. Everybody has their own like story on it. It could be a little bit different. But
yeah, so there's slightly different variations of why, like, who she was and what happened to her.
yeah,
Why she drowned her kids. But it's very similar and it's transcend. I know me growing up in Mexico, that was the thing. If you're not good, if you fucking don't listen to your parents, or if you are in trouble, or be careful, you can be out wandering at night because La Llorona will get you, especially in rivers. That's when we love, like, body of waters. You're like, oh, you can't get too far away from your family. La Llorona will come and get you.
well, that's a smart way so kids don't drown. Like, stay away from that water.
Yeah.
There's a weeping lady gonna get you.
Yeah. So to me, so yes, they like cleaned it up. They polished it so that it would sell in Hollywood. But come on, who are you? You made this movie, you called it The Curse of La Llorona. Who is it going to appeal more to?
Well,
someone who's familiar with the story, and because that's what it was for me. I saw the name and I was like, oh, cool. What did they do with it? I want to see what they did.
They missed it. Yeah.
Someone who's never been. I think that's why the critics and the reviewer, what they are, is because a lot of people who grew up with the story and are familiar, they want to watch the movie and they were like, were people...
Well, they don't see themselves in it. Like, when they're growing up, they had an idea what it was in their head.
Yeah.
And that's you're already behind the 8 ball on that. It's going to be hard to project that to people. But now you take away even more of that. And it's hard to see yourselves in a white lady. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, for you, you weren't familiar with the story. You just watched it and it was a monster movie.
When I seen it, I'm like, oh, that's cool. I didn't do any research on it. I just watched the movie. I didn't realize this was a folklore. I thought it was just a movie that was created. Until I met you. Until I met you, you're like, yeah, La Llorona is fucking epic.
Our boogeyman.
Exactly. It's your guys' boogeyman, and it's huge. This movie, I would have never known. It did not give me any of that. And I feel like they could have given that. Like, they
had you that priest, it was a big deal.
They had the priest kind of give a deposition, right?
But it was like fucking 10-30 seconds.
10-30 seconds, and he just kind of brushed it off. He's like, oh, I haven't heard about her since I was a child. But it was very brief and didn't give us the epic feel that we needed, that punch to get through.
And then he pulled it away when he's like, I had an encounter with a doll, and pulls up the big guns, like, and Annabelle, and it's like, oh, and it's like, come on, dude, you're focusing on La Llorona. Don't take the spotlight if you really want to emphasize that she's really important.
So they needed to infuse something. They kind of crowbarred that in. They shoved that in. They shouldn't have, but it was to make it the Conjuring universe, to bring again more people into the movie. Did they need that?
No.
I don't think they necessarily did.
They could have brought any other person, any other actor to play the father, not him in specific.
Here's what they could have done. Instead of showing that instance, you could have had the father, perfectly fine. But instead of showing that clip of him carrying Annabelle, why not have, like, let's say, like they've done in the past movies, where the Warrens, a piece of an artifact that they did away with La Llorona with, like that cross. Why not show that set in their little room thing that they have Annabelle in, just next to it? And then you kind of know, oh, this is in the same world as Annabelle.
So show the picture of the room.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Where the Warrens picked up this cross. I'm just saying the cross that's impaled her, where they just kind of set it next to, like, Annabelle in her case. You know what I mean? Yeah. Something like that to tie it in. Why did you have to show that? It was weird. It didn't need to be right there. And really, honestly, this movie did not need to be in the Conjuring universe.
No.
It really did not need to be in it. And it was just kind of, I think for me, it just showed like, oh, that's a money grab. They're just trying to grab even more people, to gravitate even more people to this movie, saying it, those Conjuring fans to come in. So it was very tacky and, in my opinion, tasteless. That's the one knock I am giving this movie for sure. And that's a hill I will die on, is they definitely did that for money and financial reasons, not for the story. And it fucking did not need to be there.
So for me, the freaking, what's it called? God, there were all these thoughts running through me. But Rachel gets hot. The thing for me, I think, that bothered me that I know the director has been quoted saying, no, it's not in the Conjuring universe, and no, it's not in the Conjuring universe. I mean, it was produced by them. James Wan, that's his name, right?
Yeah.
So, like you said, the whole aesthetic I can see a lot of the other movies.
And I don't mind that, though.
I do, because it just groups it with the rest of them. They could have done a polished movie and made it nice and spend the budget on doing it. But to me, I needed it to be more cultural, the story. I feel like although he says it's not, but if I can shove Annabelle in there, to me, that makes it be part of the Conjuring, although he says it's not.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think the director wanted that in there.
Yeah.
He's a new director, and we'll cover his stuff. He's very new still. He has not that much work built up. So I think that was one thing where because Blumhouse, is it Blum? No. Whoever owns The Conjuring, I'm drawing a blank. But they wanted him to fucking crowbar that in. I think that was a choice that wasn't his.
So that, to me, I've never seen the Conjuring movies as being cultural movies. They're not heavily like diverse.
Yeah, this one's different.
So to me, by them putting, I don't know, somehow connecting La Llorona to this, they're trying to fucking take away from the culture, own it. And I just don't like Americanized things, owning. It's like when Disney was trying to fucking take away Dia de los Santos and make it their own little shit.
Yeah. Well, they tone it.
To make money off of it, and it's like you can't take a holiday, you can't take a story and make it just for the money. Like that belongs to someone's culture.
And they tone it down, and it's almost tone deaf. Where like, okay, we're just gonna make. It's hard to explain it. We're just gonna make it beige, so everybody thinks it. But now you're alienating that culture, and the real reason why that was so big, the story was so big. Now you're just totally throwing that in the trash and just taking, the concept and just kind of giving it the bare bones.
Yeah, and I'm just like, no, who was it? I don't know. It just angers me, man. Don't take shit.
Don't take shit.
Don't take shit. Let it be what it is. Yeah. Don't white it down.
Whitewash it. So that kind of brings me back full circle here. This movie, did you enjoy it, or was it?
It did. It was scary. It has some good jump scares and everything.
It just wasn't epic. This isn't going to be like, this could have been an epic movie for you. This could have been one of your all-time favorites,
right? It could have.
And it let you down in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good scary movie. It has jump scares. It has good makeup. It has recognizable faces. Yeah. The actors on there. I really like, what's her name? Linda? No, what's her name? The chick from Scooby-Doo. Yeah, Linda Cardellini. Yeah. And Cardellini. I really like Raymond Cruz. My introduction to him was Blood in, Blood out,
baby.
So I like them. And I like Patricia too. She was, I didn't realize that.
She played a pretty good, low income mom.
Yeah, Patricia Velasquez. She was in Anaxuna Moon and the Mummy movies.
Yeah. Whoa, she has gotten older, man. And when you're like, yeah, that was her, I just remember her and her sleek, like almost
sexy,
naked body. I'm like, that's her? Oh my God. Some of that's makeup.
Yeah.
They made her older, but I'm like, whoa. I remember being a kid and having feelings.
And you can tell because I saw. Oh my God. So
10-year-old Richard had feelings, okay?
And it makes sense. So there's an interview that I saw, and it was Linda, Raymond, and Patricia. They were doing an interview when this movie came out. They were talking to them about it. You can even tell in the vibe between the three of them and the interviewer, because Linda was pretty quiet. This is not her background.
She fell out of place.
So Patricia and Raymond, they were the ones that were so passionately talking about the the legend, the myth, the culture, and
You brought
everything,
up a
and
good point.
explaining it.
You brought up a good point when we were watching it. Patricia, they should have swapped roles.
Yeah.
Where maybe Linda had her kids taken away initially, and Patricia was the one that was the star. I think that would have worked really well. I think that would have went a lot further. Even with this story, I think it would have went a lot
The thing
further.
to me didn't make sense is Anna had no. Yes, I guess the monsters really doesn't matter what you believe in, but Patricia obviously had more of a knowledge and background and familiarity with it. Where Anna was like, "What is that?" Well, I get it because they were trying to introduce the monster to people who were not familiar with it.
But they could have gave us a deposition dump on the history of La Llorona with her and Raymond. Like, it could have been more, I don't know, they could have done a better job.
Explain it to someone else instead of Anna. So,
because it didn't explain it well to me. I still didn't have the impact on me.
Quick comparison. So this movie came out in 2019.
Yeah.
There was another La Llorona. They came out. It was made in Guatemala.
The legend.
Came out. No, it's just called La Llorona. It came out in 2019. In US, it was released in 2020. That one, they didn't give a background story because the people watching it were already familiar with the story of La Llorona. So it just made it creepy. They got right into the story and what was happening. And it's a variation of La Llorona that I grew up with.
An interesting
slightly at
take.
the end.
Yeah.
But they wait till the very end to give you her twist of how she is here and why she's terrorizing this specific family. So I was like, oh, that's cool. So it just goes creepy through the entire movie, and at the end they're like, this is why this was the target.
Yeah.
And then it gives you her background story too. So I was like,
cool.
oh shit.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, but again, people, the main target was people who already knew the legend, so they didn't have to explain it.
So we're talking this. Do you want to get into your depth of La Llorona, like the story, the background? Because you're pretty excited about that. I think this is a good transition into that.
A good transition. So that for people who are not familiar with La Llorona, it's a folklore tale for us growing up in Latin America. To me, when I grew up, it was the story that I learned was there was this woman. The region where I grew up, she essentially lost her mind, and she had 2 kids, and she drowned her kids in the river. And when she realized what had happened, she went mad. And just from there, she kind of lost herself, died looking for her kids and bodies of water. And then she was cursed to forever, for eternity, roam the waters until she finds her kids. And along the way, if she comes across somebody else's kids, she will take them. And legend says that you can, if you hear her near bodies of water. So that's the other thing. Like, this is Central LA. So I don't no. To us, to me at least, it was if you're near bodies of water and if you're quiet and, sometimes you can hear her weeping because she's searching for her kids.
So she went mad. What was the reason she went mad? Was it because of a man?
No. To me, she just lost her mind.
Yeah. So in Kalima, it wasn't, she just lost her mind. She went mad. There was no men
story,
involved.
No, that's a story that I was told. So when I was doing research, there's a ton of variations.
Oh, there's hundreds. It's insane.
To why she did what she did. So according to Britannica, she was once, and this is the other thing that I didn't learn, but apparently she was supposed to be a very beautiful woman, and they named her Maria. And
Maria.
The story that they have online is that her husband was unfaithful. Sometimes the story is that he was abusive, and some stories say that he treated their sons better than her. And as one story said that because he cheated on her, her revenge was to get rid of the thing that he loved the most, and that was drowning his kids.
Which is pretty epic. I can accept that, but I can accept yours too.
And then there's other retellings saying that her husband might have left her for a wealthier or a lighter skinned woman. I was like, oh, okay. Sure. So out of jealousy, rage, or despair, whatever it was, she took her kids, drowned them. And then after coming to and realizing what she did, she drowned herself because she was so, just fucking horrified by what she had done.
Yeah.
And then There's another story where she accidentally neglected her kids, and so they drowned. So it wasn't her drowning them, but it was her fault
I can see
for
that.
not paying attention. So forever her ghost is forced to wander the earth, searching for her lost sons.
Yeah.
And you can hear her crying, mis hijos, ¿dónde están mis hijos?
Man, all these stories, though, I can accept. I like all of them because they all could be very interesting stories.
And so they tell you, so the story told now to kids is, don't stay out too late, don't listen to your parents, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, listen to your elders.
I'm gonna call La Llorona and tell her to come and get you if you're not being good. Apparently there's some versions that say that she can be summoned in a seance to get kids to listen to the parents. And then in other versions, she just appears to moms and steals their children, mistaking them for her own kids. There's another version where she is angry because her husband was not good to her, so she also targets men and kills men, which to me doesn't make so much sense because the main constant thing that I've heard was her crying out for her kids, the very famous mis hijos. So I was like, oh, she's targeting men.
I can see a scorned lover, but at the same time with her kids too, now you're just making it too broad.
Yeah, and as far as her appearance, long hair, cape or a veil. Others, they have she's described as being young and pretty and being entirely dressed in black or white. Some other people have said she had the bones of her dead children.
So just a second, put a bookmark in there. I'm curious, your image, before you saw this movie, what was your image of La Llorona?
La Llorona in a white dress.
It was a white dress?
Uh-huh. No veil.
What the face looked like?
I can't picture, just crying, just very sad. Not scary like this one.
Just crying and
just
weeping.
A very sad weeping, but she will take your ass.
Dang. Was she attractive? Or that wasn't a part of
that
yours?
wasn't a part of my story that I was told.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no, to me she wasn't posed as a beautiful lady. I did find it's kind of interesting, and I can totally see this because a lot of our present day monsters and legends, at least in Latin America, are rooted in indigenous roots and like Mesoamerican and pre-Hispanic gods and Aztec goddesses and gods.
Yeah.
So there's some that are saying that this story is a twist or came from other gods and goddesses. So there's one that say that there was another story that traveled from Spain. Other link her to goddess Coatlicue. Oh. There's another story that she could be a Malintzin or La Malinche, which is a story that I've heard, but I'm not too familiar with it. But Malinche was an enslaved indigenous woman who was an interpreter when the Spanish came for Hernán Cortés. I was like, I can kind of, apparently she had a kid with him, the actual lady that was interpreting. So
it's just an updated story of that.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I can see like maybe there was a story of, a goddess and it got transformed into this. Somewhere else I saw the earliest recorded documentation of La Llorona was in Mexico City in 1550.
Oh.
So it's been a minute.
Man, what's the next one we're going to do? The Chupacabra?
Chupacabra? Oh my God. There was a fucking Chupacabra movie on Netflix. I was like, oh my God. And then I saw the trailer and it's totally a kid's movie. I was like, boo. I mean, cute, but boo.
Okay. Do you have anything else?
No, that's it on the story, man.
That's on the story. Okay. Well, thank you for that. That's actually very insightful. To get back to the Curse of La Llorona, this movie was made with a production budget of approximately $9 million. That's pretty good. It grossed $123.1 million worldwide, making it a financial success despite the mixed reviews we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The movie was released in the United States on April 19th, 2019, very close to when the world stopped with COVID, but obviously it didn't affect its financial success.
Did you see the original title that the movie had?
What?
The children.
Really? That would make no
Yeah.
sense. So, again, the connection with the Conjuring universe and the Curse of La Llorona is considered loose because while it exists within the same universe, the ties are minimal and not integral to the story. And then how it's connected, like we were talking about, Father Perez, but there's no primary characters from the main series, unlike the Conjuring and Annabelle movies, which heavily involve the Warrens or the origins of the haunted artifacts in their collection. La Llorona doesn't interact directly with the central characters or major plot lines of the universe. And a standalone story, this movie largely functions as a self-contained tale based on the Mexican folklore, like we were talking about, focusing on its own set of characters and lore rather than furthering the overarching narrative of the Conjuring universe surrounded by the Warrens.
Okay. I did see, coincidentally, this movie was released the same day that Lorraine Warren passed.
Was it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
So, again, I have one of those fun facts on set, like spooky stuff, real life experiences on set. So Linda, who plays Anna Tate, revealed that some cast and crew members claim to have an eerie experience on set, including mysterious sounds and feelings of unease. I always love those. And like you said, the alternate title, I've seen that too, The Children.
Yeah, on Metacritic's, their consensus reads that the movie is content to coast on jump scares rather than tap into its story creepy potential. It arrives in theaters already broken. I was like, oh. I did see in comparison to like the movie I was mentioning in 2019, La Llorona, the Guatemalan version.
Yeah.
That movie received much better reviews, including a Golden Glove nomination and higher scores, although I think the revenue was less. I mean, it was lower budgets that they were using for that movie, but it got better redeemed.
So I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I did on my notes, I was letting you kind of run with it. But the reasons why this got mixed reviews were several reasons. Can I just name them real quick? The over-reliance on jump scares. So you even mentioned it has a lot of jump scares.
Yeah.
Many critics and viewers felt the movie relied too heavily on predictable jump scares rather than building tension or atmosphere. This approach can feel repetitive and less impactful. So I think that's kind of part of it. I didn't necessarily feel that. I thought it was great. Lack of originality, which, do you agree with that? The movie was criticized for its formulaic plot, which followed many familiar horror tropes. Some felt it didn't bring anything new to the genre, with comparisons to the Conjuring universe films highlighting its lack of innovation. Which I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint.
Yeah, I mean, you could kind of see when the doors are moving slowly, you know, she's gonna jump.
Yeah, they didn't add any.
Once you see her fucking with the mirrors, you can expect any mirror to be messed with.
The number 4 complaint or critique on this movie, you hit the nail on the head. Shallow exploration of the folklore. Well, based in the rich haunting legend, the film was criticized for not delving deeply enough into the cultural and emotional significance of the myth. Some viewers felt it missed an opportunity to explore the legend in more meaningful ways. Like you.
You know what? I know we talked about this on another episode. Who would be better at doing a version of La Llorona between Guillermo del Toro and Damián Rugna?
Oh, fuck.
I want to see.
I want to see both.
I want to see Guillermo del Toro. Rugna goes hardcore with the monsters and the slash and the blood and the guts. But I like Del Toro's. I think Del Toro would do good.
Runga would be great because he's not afraid to show... I know it's a sort of thing, but children dying. Like in his other movie... Not When Evil Lurks, is it? When she's eating the brains out of the kid's
That is When Evil Lurks.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, dude. I want to see both. I think Guillermo del Toro will bring that rich story, but I think Runga would bring it too.
So they could do it too, because Guillermo del Toro, I feel like he would be doing good a origin story.
Yeah.
Because he's more of like the fairy tale and the fantasy.
Ooh, if they do a two-parter.
And he could set it up, how she came to be. And her I would be fascinated to watch something like that.
I will give them my money right now.
And then once she becomes this monster, then Rugna could take it and be like,
shit, dude. That would be fucking mind-blowing. I'd be so stoked.
We have yet to cover. Well, he does more.
We should write him, dude. We should write letters to him, like,
To
please
both.
make this.
Oh, we should. I'll message him on Instagram, Rugna.
Do it.
He's actually pretty cool. He interacts with people on there and shit.
I know. I think he interacted with us a couple
Yeah,
times.
he's liked a couple of our comments.
Yeah. So another thing I kind of hit on, thin character development.
Ooh, ooh.
The characters were seen as underdeveloped, making it difficult for audiences to form strong emotional connections. Critics noted that the protagonist, Ana Tate Garcia, lacked depth, as did the supporting characters. This one I don't necessarily agree with. Pacing issues. Some viewers found that pacing uneven with slow build-up that led to a rushed climax. This imbalance made the film feel less cohesive and impactful. I don't necessarily agree with that. And then comparison to superior films. Being part of the Conjuring universe, the film was inevitably compared to critically acclaimed entries like The Conjuring and Annabelle Creation. Many felt it didn't meet the high standards set by their predecessors, which I'm not terribly high on Annabelle Creation. Didn't really move anything along. It wasn't innovative to me. I feel like it was right along. These two movies were kind of even.
On Origin?
Yeah, like Annabelle's Creation and this movie.
Is that the one we covered?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that great. It was good. I was entertained, but I'm
It
not
was
by any means like, oh my God. And
Yeah.
same with The Conjuring in general. I'm not like, oh my God, this is the amazing piece of work. Like, James Wan, you did a good job, but it's not over the top for me.
He's good at doing money grabbers. I mean, The Conjuring.
Like, they're good popcorn movies. Don't get me wrong.
The Nun, I
Yeah.
feel like that one was the Nun 2 that we won.
Those are good. Those are the Conjuring universe that I liked.
Those were the ones. I don't know if it was like the vids that put it into high
The
gear for
COVID
us,
where we got our
but we
fever
were having
dreams.
nightmares.
That was hilarious.
You're yelling at the fucking ghost.
Man,
Oh,
you fuckers are crazy.
yeah. Who's gonna get you first? Yeah.
So yeah, no. So the original plan of this movie, the studio initially approached James Wan, the acclaimed director behind the Conjuring and Insidious franchises, also Saw, to helm the project. When he declined the opportunity to direct, I think there's a reason why he declined it.
He's like, I know, thank you.
No, well, he's not Hispanic. I think they needed a Hispanic director. It would have
Just
been
to
a
put
big
the name.
yeah. Opportunity to direct, opting instead to remain on board as a producer. His involvement ensured the film retained some stylistic elements that you were talking about, Angelus, consistent with the Conjuring universe, even under a different director. And then why Michael Chavez was chosen.
Okay.
We kind of know he's Chavez, but Michael Chavez was brought on after impressing Juan and New Line Cinema with his award-winning short film, The Maiden, in 2016.
The Maiden?
Yeah, I've never seen it.
I've never.
It showcased his skill with supernatural horror and atmospheric tension. The success of The Curse of La Llorona marked his directorial debut and helped establish him as a rising talent in horror, later securing him for the role of director for The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. So yeah, I jumped a little bit more to the director.
His movies that he's in.
Oh. I did on my notes, I have Americanized, question mark. So the Curse of La Llorona does have a distinctly Americanized feel, and this has been a common critique, like we were talking about. Focus on an American family instead of centering on Latin American family or setting. The film's protagonist is Ana Tate Garcia, played by Linda Cardellini, a widowed white social worker, while her late husband was Hispanic. The story leans heavily on her perspective, sidelighting the cultural context. The choice made the story more accessible to mainstream American audiences, but diluted the cultural authenticity. And then Hollywood horror tropes. The film relies on the conventional Hollywood horror elements like jump scares, special effects, and linear storytelling instead of atmospheric psychological tension that might be more fitting for folk legends. And then minimal use of Spanish language. Surprisingly, that was very minimal in this movie.
I mean, it makes sense. You have two main Hispanic actors on there, Patricia and Rafael.
You would think there'd be more in it, though.
And they speak, I mean, they're talking to Anna, and her character only speaks English. The one thing that I pointed out when Rafael is making breakfast and he says something to her in Spanish, and I'm like, why? Why was the need to insert that there?
Well, that's the thing. They crowbarred those in to be like, oh, we got to throw a little bit in there to make it look like it's cultured.
Place.
Yeah.
He could have talked to La Llorona more in Spanish. La Llorona came from Latin America. You would have think that the entire time Rafael was fighting her, he would be addressing her in Spanish, her native tongue.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, I wish he would.
He was praying in Spanish, but it was very minimal that they I mean, yes, it makes sense. A lot of those movies, you know, they don't spend a bunch of time. But when he was talking to her and being like, leave the kids and blah, 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 he could have, I don't know, be like, hey, La Llorona, vete pa tu casa. I don't know. Something you'd imagine. And even when Patricia comes and she's talking to her in English and she's like, here, take him.
Well, so
Patricia,
I think I kind of get
more...
what you're saying. They could have, and this is a missed opportunity. They could have used more authentic elements like traditional rituals, cultural settings, and, you know, different prayers.
Which he did do the whole curandero thing.
Oh, and that was accurate? It was pretty good?
It was when I was younger in Mexico. At least I grew up in a really small town, and that was kind of like there was a couple of people that we had, or a couple of healers in town, man.
Yeah. Curanderos.
Yeah, they would read the tarot cards and smack you with fucking patchouli. I'm just kidding.
God.
Not patchouli, but they would rub you. I like that you asked me what the egg was doing, and I knew exactly what.
Oh my God. Fuck, man. I don't think we even have to do a scene for scene for this movie. We're just breaking it down. This is pretty good flow. So that egg stuff, man. Oh my God. That was cool. Did that shit really happen? They just get super bloody when evil just...
I've never seen it, but I know, like...
Has your dad ever done that?
Probably. My grandma
we
used
gotta,
to
we
do
gotta
it.
ask Perfecto, dude. Or Maria. We gotta ask them.
If they've ever had it done.
Yeah.
I know
when they come today for dinner, I'm just gonna when Orlando, Madison, Maria, they come in, I'm just gonna rub the eggs.
Ask my dad next time he's here. He'll tell you. He has stories for days.
I want to hear it. He probably does too. Huh?
You should tell him to tell you stories when he used to go gold hunting.
You gotta initiate this.
Treasure hunting.
You gotta initiate.
No, I know my mom has had her palm read, and I know that there was this lady where we lived.
They said she was gonna die early, right?
Yeah, yeah. There was this lady, and I knew that like they had gone and seen her a couple times. A lot of my family still till today, they kind of sometimes tap into it a little bit and go to a curandera and have a cleansing because they're having just such negative vibes and just everything is fucking down on its luck, and get a cleansing because there's bad vibes going on. And I know that I think my grandma might have done it on my dad's side. I know that people used to go to her to make like homemade remedies and stuff at times.
That's why your dad's so spiritual, huh?
And yeah. Because, my grandma grew up more with that than the church.
Not the traditional. She is more
but
of a
my grandma,
fringe.
I don't know. I wish I knew more of her background. She had more of that, like, indigenous background on her. More of those, like...
That sounds way more interesting.
More of, like, the homemade remedies and... the wives' tales and the stories and...
I love it.
Everything. She's the nicest lady. You would have loved her and she would have scared you all at once.
Really?
She was just loud and very, like you, just animated. And she's like, hi, how are you? Come here, give me a hug.
Oh, man. So I'm scary too? That's fuck.
No, I said she would have been like, oh my gosh. Because even if she was her first time meeting you, she was just like, hi.
Yeah. I like it.
But I know,
Dang.
I've heard of the whole egg thing. So the whole egg thing is you go get your cleanse, they rub you down with the egg, and the egg is supposed to any curses or negative or any bad vibes are on
I'm gonna
you.
do that. So
it
we're
transfers onto the egg, and then
Yeah.
they would crack it. And sometimes there was like dots of like blood and like weird shapes, and then
So we're
that's
planning
what I
on
was
having
collecting.
a baby. I think I'm gonna rub huevos for my huevos.
No, no,
I gotta get that evil out
the
of
evil out of there. Stupid. Oh my gosh,
Hilarious.
Richard.
Hey man, Chancho's gotta come into this world free of
You're
that
gonna
evil.
get rid of all the bad,
Uh-huh.
all the bad fucking seeds.
Yep, all the bad juju. I can't have an evil Chancho.
Like, why not? It could be the next omen.
No. Let me finish this thought. So, by trying to cater to a broad international audience, The Curse of La Llorona arguably lost some of its cultural specificity that makes La Llorona legend so compelling. This is a common challenge in Hollywood adaptations of folklores. So that was kind of redundant. I know I was repeating it, but I needed to get some of my notes in too about it.
All right, you just needed to say something.
Yeah, we're kind of all over the place, but I kind of like this flow. This is a good flow for us, honestly. I think the way we're rolling's pretty good.
I was impressed with the director. He directed The Nun too. I like that movie.
He did, or did The Devil Made Me Do It?
He did. He's done.
He didn't do The Nun too.
He did. He did The Devil Made Me Do It and Nun too.
Seriously?
Yeah.
I didn't see The Nun too.
And then he signed on to direct The Reckoning by Michael Bay. Bradley. So he's kind of it was that couple of short things, and then Curse of La Llorona.
I am stoked they got Raymond Cruz to do this. I just remember him, my favorite character in Breaking Bad, Tuco. Crazy ass Tuco, man.
Crazy ass Tuco.
I love him even more in Better Call Saul. Tuco Salamanca.
Oh,
I love that. That's my favorite character of all time. So yeah, I mean, I think it was a great cast. I think what they did was good. We don't have to get in their backgrounds. I think, like I said, the way we're vibing right now, I think we're pretty good.
everybody knows Linda Cardellini.
Dude, Freaks and Geeks is where I first saw her. I remember being a kid. I'm like, I kind of had a crush on her. She was a tomboy. I'm like,
Dang, you and Vienna have something in common.
I know. The Velma leather was not my thing. That's Vienna. The bowl cut, not my thing, man.
The bowl cut, yeah, Scooby Doo. I loved her in Grandma's Boy. She was really good.
Should we
in
share
there.
that story?
Oh, Vienna.
Yeah.
You can ask her when she comes on. Maybe she'll tell you.
No, she won't. She's too private.
She's done a lot of like animated shows too, which I didn't realize. Gravity Falls. Vienna used to love that show.
Dude, she was in the ER remake.
I didn't. I mean, I don't watch those shows, but I guess.
Yeah.
And then Bloodline. I remember her in there, which was such a good story and such a fucking rushed ending.
What was it?
Bloodline.
It sounds familiar.
It's good. I think you might like. You might like it. It has some of those stories that you like to follow: family, blood, betrayal.
Wow,
No?
you're making me sound like a trad wife. True crime and shit.
Well, you
Murder
do
porn.
watch your fucking. I'm learning so much. That's what you keeps playing on TV. Those shows that you jackal.
Oh, no. So I like a good spy espionage movie or series, The Jackal. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's on Peacock. Fucking love it. Another one it's on Paramount. It's got Michael Fassbender. I think it's called like The Agency. Another fucking good one, guys. Those are the kind of things I like.
Okay.
Other than horror, yes, guys, I like things outside of horror. I also like rom-coms. Check them out.
The most recent thing I saw her in was Dead to Me. She was really good in there.
I've never seen it, but I've heard good things about it. It's got Christina Applegate in it, right?
It does. The last season is a little sad because Christina Applegate comes back and she looks way different. And I was like, oh my God. And then I saw her whole diagnosis. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, she's struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
Dude, Raymond Cruz, dude. I also, you know what I was disappointed in this movie? They Americanized it, but they didn't Americanize enough because where was our boy? Danny Trejo.
Oh my God.
He's in everything. And I could have easily seen him in Raymond Cruz's role, but they also could have put him somewhere else, because I think Raymond Cruz was perfectly cast in that role.
I'm happy for him. Apparently this was his first top bill role in a film.
Seriously.
He's
it took
always
him that
been
long.
given minor roles in TV and film. Like, I mean, even in Blood In, Blood Out, he was one of the dudes in the background. He was
when they needed a gang guy, he was the guy.
That's what I saw in a lot
stupid.
of. He has a lot of credits, but a lot of them was him playing gangsters or like criminals.
An afterthought role.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy. He definitely deserved it. I think he's a great actor. Everything I watch him in, he's in Training Day, The Closer, Breaking Bad, Major Crimes.
Mm-hmm.
So TV series, but I enjoy him and everything. But Danny Trejo would have been great.
He's
somewhere
in another
this
La
movie.
Llorona.
Is he?
There's another La Llorona that came out 2020, 2022.
Oh, okay.
He's in it. Trejo.
Well,
that's their connection.
You know
They're
what
like, here's another movie you guys like.
You know
Trejo.
where we could have seen him in? As Father Perez. I think he would have been great.
That's another thing that I was saying is it didn't have to be this specific guy playing the father. It could have been anyone else. I can't see Danny in a fucking suit playing the father.
His
It
long
would have
hair,
been hilarious.
Him
dressed up.
what do you call that, handlebar mustache?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. You know what, Linda? You got demons.
You got demons.
You could just hear Danny Trejo. I could hear him in that role. It'd be hilarious. I love it. And then again, yeah, Patricia, how do you say her last name?
Velasquez.
She, again, the mummy. Apparently she was in Arrested Development, which I kind of remember. It's been a while since I've seen the show.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I thought she did a pretty good job in this. She's very convincing.
She played the scared mom, the fucking pissed mom.
But not the right role. She should have been fucking Linda's role, man.
She looked more scared than Linda.
Yeah.
So it was like, they missed the mark.
Exactly. I will say, Tony Amendola, Father Perez, he was in Zorro, 1990 to 1993.
Really?
Yeah. Captain Felipe.
Oh my gosh.
And then, yeah, so...
And we have Marisol Ramirez, who plays La Llorona.
Which I feel like she didn't get enough role time in this.
All she does is scream.
Yeah.
Well, who knows if it was even her? They were using an extra, just all those scenes where her face is covered.
Well, they did say she sat there for hours for the makeup.
Poor girl.
So
yeah.
her.
She doesn't have a ton of stuff that I found. She was in Right at Your Door in 2006, Return to Zero in 2014, and Mr. Burcham. It was a TV show in 2024 more recently.
Very interesting.
The
very good.
girl who plays Samantha, Janie Lynn Kinchin, she's done a few of those things. Enchanted Christmas, more like the family. What is that TV channel?
Hallmark?
Yeah, movies. And then
Ooh, are you a Hallmark person?
I am not.
Okay, guys.
Girl with a gun.
Okay, I'm going to pivot real quick.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I'm coming out. I am not a Christmas guy.
We have a Grinch at home.
A Grinch?
Mm-hmm.
You can call me that. I just never like Christmas. It's never been like one holiday. Thanksgiving's cool. Get to hang out with family.
It's cool.
Food's good. But Christmas, I hate gift giving. I hate receiving gifts. I hate giving gifts. Like, it's not like, I like giving you a gift, right? But the rest of the people, I don't know. You have to fake the reaction sometimes. It's like, I don't like that stuff. I don't know. It's just, we can hang out. Why can't we just hang out, enjoy each other's company, eat good food? Why do we have to have gifts?
I don't know. Because fucking economy.
It's commercialized. I don't like it.
And capitalism. Woohoo.
Christmas. Yeah. And then the Christmas music makes me want to blow my brains out.
You should go to Mexico for a Christmas.
Is it
it's
good?
different.
Feliz Navidad.
It's more of a cultural thing, more of the religious put into it, where
I
like
can get behind that.
Tradition.
Yeah.
Like I've mentioned, when I was
I'm not a very religious guy, but
I grew up Christmas. I didn't get Christmas gifts. We had to wait until El Día de los Reyes on January 6th when the three
wise men.
Yeah, they take in the Bible, they're the ones who take gifts to baby Jesus. So that's when kids also would get gifts, since that's when it makes more sense that they're giving gifts and then you would get a gift. But on Christmas, it was very much about the birth.
What was the date?
January 6th.
Oh.
Why?
I don't know. It's an epic holiday.
El Día de los Reyes. Fuck yeah. Stupid. Drop it. We're talking about Christmas and holidays. So Christmas was actually like it was getting together with family. I know that in the background you had your nativity set and it was the birth of Jesus, but it was just spending time with family and eating food and just hanging out. There wasn't like the whole like, okay, everybody get done eating and sit around the tree and let's open fucking 100 presents and see who got the coolest and most expensive one.
Yeah.
But here they just shove it in your face. They're like, buy, sales.
Over time,
sales.
it's just gotten more tasteless and
buy everybody something cool.
Yeah, it's just kind of.
How many?
But that's just my view. That doesn't mean I'm right. That's kind of the vibe I've got. That's why this is our first Christmas living together. That's why I'm just not gung ho about it. I'll watch a Christmas movie. I just don't get in that quote unquote Christmas spirit.
The most Christmas movies I watch are like the Grinch, the cartoon.
Yeah,
but that's it.
I like that. I like Rudolph. I like the old
Jim
school
Carrey.
ones. No, but like I like the old school claymation ones, like Rudolph, Frosty the Snowman. You don't remember all those?
I didn't watch those.
I'll have to show you. I like those. Those are entertaining. But again,
Yeah.
Even as a kid, I was like,
Oh, you know what? Home Alone.
Oh my God. Die Hard, baby.
It's as Christmassy as movies as I'm like,
Do we wanna take a quick break?
Do you want to touch on the writers before the break? I didn't find a lot on them. It was Mickey,
I think we've been
Daughtry,
talking
and Tobias Iaconis.
Great writers. I think let's take a quick break. I really gotta go to the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We will be right back.
Wow.
All right, we are back. Man, that was a good break. Did you have a good break? You were talking to your madre?
Yep, she's gonna head over in a little while.
And we're gonna have some tortas.
Some tortas tonight.
I've never had a homemade torta before.
I know. We always
Do we gotta get buns?
No, she got everything.
What the fuck? Is she making from scratch? Here?
Yeah, she's just cooking the meats.
Oh, at her house?
Bringing stuff over here.
Nice. So our clothes don't have to smell like it, but we can taste it.
Oh, my
God. I love it. I love that our house is now the spot. Like your dad was over yesterday. I love it. Bullshit with him. And now today, your mom, brother, they're going to be here.
It's just the house of hosting.
I know.
Then
Sunday I got band practice. Shout out. Be on the lookout for Upon the Fallen. But yeah, my days are just busy now. This is my life. This is my life now.
You're like, I just want a day or I don't do anything.
Chill, bro. Chill. But that's okay. I love it. Love your family. They're all amazing.
I'm sorry.
It's great. It's okay. It's okay. Anyways, do we want to go through our plots? It's kind of my favorite segment. One of my favorites.
Let's go through our plots.
Okay. Did you write your plot?
No, I AI that shit.
Oh, fuck. Did you?
No. I told you, I don't know how to use AI.
Oh.
It's hard.
What?
I put stuff in and it doesn't spit out what I wanted to say and do. And I'm like, no. How do I do this?
You're fucking wild, my
It's
guy.
hard. I tried looking up things and shit and it just,
Doesn't work for you?
No, it's like, I always start looking things and they're like, oh, do you want us to create a picture for you? And I'm like, sure, draw this. And it spits out something stupid. And I'm like, no, that's not what I see in my head.
It's hilarious.
It's hard.
Okay.
It's hard.
Well, good. So you purely write your prompt.
Okay, I have something to bring up. Okay, Richard thinks that because English is my second language, I don't know the meaning of big words that I don't use on my daily home life.
Sometimes in previous episodes, you say words that I don't think you actually know what they mean.
I do. I watch movies and I audit and I use big words when I write my work for auditing.
You make me sound like I think you're stupid. I don't think that.
You
I don't.
You're like, you think you fucking cheat and you steal them from somewhere because you don't use those words. And I'm like, fuck you, man. I know what those words mean just because I don't come out to you. And I'm like, Richard, this is fucking, the juxtaposition of this movie is
juxtaposition.
Nuts. Yeah, it's nuts. We put La Llorona in LA. It's weird, man.
Okay. Do you want to start with your plot?
Yeah, let me see if I wrote any big words in here first.
Oh my god.
Let me simplify that.
Oh my god. That's what I gotta deal with, guys.
What? You mess with the bull, you get the horns returned.
Mess with the bull, you get the horns. That's what I hear all the time. You mess with the bull,
what movie was
you
that
get
from?
horns.
It's fucking funny.
Yeah, the
It's a
80s.
It's a Will Ferrell movie, isn't it?
No, it's like, god damn it. Not 16 Candles. It's when they're in detention. People are screaming at us right now.
Oh, that's not where I got
Amelia
it from.
Estevez, the principal, says, you mess with the bull, you get the horns.
Oh, I remember a movie there was a wrestling match, and that's where I got it from.
Oh.
Anyways, the plot. Behold the story of the ultimate ghost kidnapper. It is LA 1974, and this monster knows no bounds. In the Conjuring universe, we find La Llorona cruising the city of angels in Gringoland, terrorizing single moms and their no sabo kids. Also, apparently, she's for hire, taking in more special requests than your local radio station. Have a kid who won't listen? Call La Llorona. Have a teenager in the rebellious phase? Call La Llorona. Kid who doesn't like vegetables? Called La Llorona. Ana, a social worker, gets introduced to every Latin American kid's monster under the bed. When her youngins become the next target and the church puts Anna's pleas of help on a wait list longer than your local Costco on Thanksgiving Day, she turns to whoever can help. In this case, Rafael, el curandero, a former priest who, with a bag full of concoctions, DIY spells, and dry humor, will do everything he can do to get a close look at this weeping face. Don, don, don.
Vaya con Dios.
Vaya con Dios.
Very good, very good.
No.
Okay. In The Curse of La Llorona, 2019, a centuries-old Mexican ghost somehow decides to terrorize a suburban white mom, Anna, whose main qualifications are a late Mexican husband and a zero understanding of cultural rituals. Enter Rafael, a discount ghostbuster who battles La Llorona with sage, eggs, and vague one-liners about spirituality. The kids fend off the ghosts with sheer dumb luck. White Anna waves a crucifix like she's leading a PTA meeting. Yeah. The real horror here, the total gentrification of a rich Latin American legend into a generic haunted house flick with just enough Spanish words to convince you it's authentic. In the end, La Llorona is defeated, not by culture or tradition, but by Hollywood's favorite weapon, mediocrity.
Oh my god.
Mike fucking drop. What's up, dog? Put a lot into that.
You did. I was not trying to bring in gentrification, but hey, good for you. You went hard. You told me I couldn't go dark with it.
What? I said go all out. You didn't like it?
I did. A PTA meeting.
I love it. Discount Ghostbuster. That was my favorite. I was laughing when I wrote this yesterday.
Raphael. Justice for Raphael.
Hollywood's favorite weapon, mediocrity. So yeah, I mean, I liked it. Good job on the plot.
Concoctions didn't throw you off.
Oh my god. Your joke about Costco lines kind of fell a little bit, but
Really? You were bitching the entire time we were there. Well, that was stupid. You go and you tell them there's a fucking demon hunting you, and they're like, "Oh, you're gonna have to go on this wait list."
Yeah. Oh, for the Catholic Church
Yeah.
to come investigate it. Yeah.
I'm like, no, bitch. Like, look at my arms.
Yeah.
It's here right now.
What's going down, man?
Not in a few months. So you like the intro of the movie?
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't like the intro of the movie because it didn't do it justice. I feel like this movie took later in the movie, you find out she's supposed to be the most beautiful lady, gorgeous, and she marries in with this man, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it purposefully doesn't show her face, which I don't understand why. That's part of the folklore. This folklore is you need to see her beautiful face. She's gorgeous. She's one of the most gorgeous ladies out there, right?
Yeah, she wasn't a monster yet. Why not show it?
Instead of focusing on her face, her husband's face, they choose to focus on the children. And I get why they're doing it. You're trying to set the children in. You could do that by showing her face. You don't have to show the husband's face. Show her face.
They're the three.
Yeah, or else don't mention that she was the most beautiful lady. Like, why does that matter then?
Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't. So
unless it plays some part into it, but it doesn't.
And it doesn't at all.
Not for this movie.
And what being the most beautiful lady, why does it matter if you're not putting him in a trance? Like, I get that if the husband is like being manipulated, being hypnotized by her beauty, or the kids are being hypnotized by her beauty. But in this movie, that's not the case. They're not being hypnotized by that. She just has the ability to tap into them and control them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it just, that part I didn't like. I'm critiquing it. It sounds like I hate this movie and I don't hate the movie. I just feel like there was choices they could have done better on.
I did like the kids' clothing option that they gave him. It did look like older, like 1670 something.
1673.
Yeah, so they had more of that clothing style. It wasn't modernized. The thing is, when she grabs the kids,
what's their name? Bartolo and not Tomas.
It is Tomas.
That's later. It's Bartolo and
I don't know. Bartholomew. Mew mew. Carlos is too modern.
Oh, it was.
It was Carlos?
Or was that?
That was the kids in present day.
Carlos and Tomas was
Patricia's kids.
Yeah.
The thing that I don't get about this scene is she takes her kids to the river. So she was just playing with them, right?
Yeah.
On the fields. And they're spinning and holding hands. And next thing you know, she's drawing them. And she has a wedding dress, it looks like, and a veil. And I'm like, why is she wearing a veil? She wouldn't have been covering her face when she was drawing the kids.
It happened too quick. Like they smashed this together just to tell a quick story or rundown of why she's doing this.
Yeah.
So it was tacky. Like the husband's there and then he's not. Now she's upset. Takes one of the boys. The other boy now just doesn't know where they went and he's just standing in the field randomly.
You figure she would have taken both. I don't know.
It could have been late at night. Here's how the scenario could have happened. The husband, they get in a big argument. He ends up leaving, right?
Mm-hmm.
Miss Maria is there.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's upset. She's crying. She's upset. She fucking was eating her frozen piece of wedding cake that they saved. She's wearing her wedding dress, upset. And then
she put on her wedding dress because she's mad. I was like, what?
And then
did they just get married?
The boys are laying in their beds, maybe not sleeping, but scared. They're like, what the fuck? Mom's upset. She grabs one of them and it's gone. And then one of the boys wakes up, doesn't realize where his brother went, and like, what the fuck? Where's my brother? Where's my mom? Where's my dad? Goes outside, is yelling like, hey, where are you at? They're in their own isolated area, right? Goes down the roadway. There's the river. Now he sees Maria hovering over his brother, drowning him aggressively, right? And then has that creepy moment where she stares at him and then he starts running and then she catches him and then it could be the end of that scene.
Boom.
I think that would have been more effective. I am kind of I'm explaining it super fast, but I think that would have been a better angle.
I'm just going to critique your frozen cake.
I don't know. What do you do?
70s, did they have freezers?
I don't know. I took some liberties, okay?
Boom, there's an icebox.
I'm just painting a picture. I'm not saying it has to exactly be that, but you know what I mean, though, right? It could be something like that, explaining why this is happening.
It was fine. I just I don't get why she needed a veil to drown them. I get from the public to hide her face, because then they keep hiding her and they only show her when they want you to get scared throughout the movie. But at this point, she was not beautiful. There yet. Yeah, don't cover her face. And then I guess so then we move to, then they're in LA, fast forwards. Mm-hmm. I know that LA has rivers and then there's the beach and everything. They
have those canal things that
that was enough for her to be right there.
I think any kind of water, like a pool or any kind of water around, she can use that. Because remember, people can drown even in an inch of water.
But were the canals close to her house, to the houses?
I don't know, but if she can hypnotize like she does, they can walk to wherever
I know,
they're
but
going.
her ass was in there wandering through the fucking neighborhood.
And whoa. Are we saying Maria is a border hopper? What's going on here? How'd she get Mexico to the United States? Did one of the coyotes take her? What happened here?
Yeah, I don't think it was open border. Was it in 1974 open borders?
I think it was.
No,
I think they closed the borders
60s.
In the 80s. During the drug wars, like the Reagan years, I think they closed the border.
Or Reagan years in the 60s. He was passing out.
That was the 80s.
No, well, in the 80s?
Yeah, it was Reagan.
I just remember, my grandpa was coming in at that time, and they were handing out Social
I don't think
Security
Jimmy
numbers,
Carter. I don't
they
think
were hot pockets. They were
that was Reagan. I don't think Jimmy Carter closed the borders. I think that was a Reagan thing.
Okay.
And guys, feel free to critique us, send us messages. I didn't look that part of up for history, but I know it was Reagan in the 80s, I believe. So.
Okay.
Or Bush. It could have been Bush Senior, but I think it was Reagan.
I don't know. So somehow magically she hopped the border. Maybe it was through one of those working permits. Maybe it was with the coyote. I don't know. But she made it here. That's the thing is this was set in Mexico. Maybe she traveled through the Rio Grande. I don't know.
I don't know. So now it's she's illegal.
Case, they should fucking put her in the Olympics, okay?
She needs
the swimming.
She needs that she needs that, those ghost papers. I need to see them.
But she's there. And then
I know it doesn't have to make sense. She's a ghost, so right there. But it's just fascinating that now I guess maybe the culture bled through into the United States. That's why she's able to come over. It's more in their minds than physical.
Are you saying we're making shit up in our heads?
No.
But we have her here in
kind of like Freddy Krueger. When you don't think of him, he doesn't exist. But enough people start thinking of him, he comes into your dreams. Exactly. He gets stronger. So I can get behind that theory.
What did you think of Patricia, and that door?
Wait, what?
Patricia and her kids and that door where she has them locked up?
Dude, I'm like, whoa.
I was trying to figure out. So another thing in Mexico is there's this, folklore, el ojo. Somebody, and it happens more with younger kids. I know people still do it. It's rooted again in this, and the beliefs and the witchcraft and all these things. But so there's a belief. Some people, I think, still believe in it. If your kid is young, a baby, and gets sick for no reason, and they can't find an explanation, the next explanation that at times people will go to is el ojo. Someone give him evil eye. And that's why your kid is acting sick and everything. And there's people I remember growing up.
You showed me a podcast. What was the podcast that I showed you? And then you showed me the episode where it was a Hispanic family and then the grandma cursed the boy. Remember that?
No.
In Mexico?
Really?
Remember that? Mm-hmm. It was the aunt or grandma that cursed him and he was getting sick.
Vaguely.
You remember
I
that?
don't remember what it was. But there's people I remember that they would tell you, so to protect your babies, you had to put a bracelet and it had an ojo. And sometimes they said that it was an ojo de venado, a deer's eye, but I don't think it was a real eye. It just has a little ball bead in it, and it's always a red bracelet, but it's a protection to guard against the evil eye. So even some people were so extreme that if they looked at your kid too strong because you had a really cute kid,
Oh, a pervy eye.
not pervy necessarily, but they
Chimo.
just like,
Hey, how do you say child molester in Spanish? What do you guys call those guys?
I don't know.
You know,
I don't know.
like what's your version of stranger danger in Mexico?
Stranger danger? I don't know. I used to scare Bianna with if she got too far away from me at the stores when she was younger. I would just look at any stranger and be like, if you keep leaving, that man's gonna take you.
Oh my god.
And I had a friend, and she's like, you're a dick. You're just fucking making her scared to just any strangers. And I'm like, don't go talk to them.
Yeah.
Don't just scare her. Tell her that they're gonna take her and she'll be fine. And she wouldn't. She'll just look at them all scared and get closer to
And
me.
now she's petrified now. I'm like, Anna, you
Strangers.
can go look at your own things. No.
She does. She's like, I want you to come with me.
You did fuck her up.
Oh, I'll just get her a bracelet. It'll be fine. I'll be like, here, now they can't
The eye
take
of the
you.
deer got you.
Lojo. But they would, even if you had like apparently really cute kids and someone looked at them too intensely and they were jealous or some shit, it could make them sick. So I wanted to know, like, what was
Make
the
the
reason
kid sick or make the
that
person?
it makes your kids sick? And so that's why people put red bracelets on their babies sometimes.
Oh, we're gonna do that.
By Lojo, no. But I was trying to figure out why Patricia, like, they gave no background why she drew a bunch of eyes on that door.
Yeah.
So was it to
Nothing.
protect
Yeah.
from La Llorona, or was there a different?
So
Is it a protection thing? Like, what was that?
So that was the interpretation I got. All that writing on the walls and stuff was to protect, because she had all the candles around. She had those lit. She had everything drawn like it was super dark. She had the eye spiraling on the door. I think that was everything spiritually. That's the interpretation I got.
Yeah, because it was a bunch of eyes, but I guess I just didn't know like what the purpose of it was, or if there was a reasoning. Maybe Anna should have drew eyes on her doors.
I do want to argue, how the hell did a cop or a detective and a social worker afford the big house?
Oh, that big ass house with
A fucking mansion, dude. That thing's huge. Even in 1973, that costs a pretty penny in the heart of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
I just comfortably, it's like
Again,
a 3-story house.
Going against the culture, man.
With the big pool. I don't know. It was a nice house.
Yeah. I digress. Sorry. That's another.
I did like the movie. It would make sense that her tears sting. If La Llorona, they get
it was
to you.
almost like Alien, where the blood's acid. It was kind of like that. Like, it was like burning. That was cool.
Yeah, and I did like, it did get to me, the scene where after they take the kids away from Patricia because they think she's cuckoo bananas.
Yeah. Which, who wouldn't in that situation?
Yeah, if you don't know. Yeah, and all the signs, they did good at portraying. They see the injuries. So this is the thing that was annoying.
Well, they could have
see the-
explained it better. These kids could have explained the situation a little bit better.
If it was me, I would have been like, it's La Llorona. Even if you don't, because you're little, you don't necessarily know that people are going to think of you as crazy. Where an adult, you hold back more on what you would be willing to say.
That could be the culture too, though. Had they said that in Mexico, the lady grabbed me.
Mm-hmm.
That could have been interpreted different. Where it was effective because Anna is, your mom, referring to, they're too scared to call her mom.
Clarify. Yeah.
She assumes.
She just assumes, but throughout they see their,
Frustrated.
what looks like burn marks.
Like cigarette burns being out.
Yeah, and everybody makes the assumption, of course I would too, that it's the parents if they're not going anywhere else.
Yeah.
And she has them locked up and all of a sudden they have these burn marks on their bodies. Who else is doing it? Yeah, the parents. But when they ask the kids and even the mom, they're like, what happened? Nobody's saying. It's like they're scared to say La Llorona.
Well, the mom says it, but even the older boy, because she looks at the younger boy, Carlos, looks at his arm and the burns. She's like, who did that? She did it. And then she's like, your mom's not going to hurt you anymore. And then the older boy, it acts like, and they do a good job, like he's covering up for her. Like, my mom didn't do this. It's not her. He is meaning this, and it's real to him that it's my mom didn't do it, but then Anna takes it like, oh, he's sticking up for her. They don't want to leave her, even though she's abusive.
Yeah,
which it was effective. That was
yeah.
effective, and it was frustrating
because they don't say too much. They're just like no, and it's very vague. So
but
everything
they do
is
it.
pointed at
They
the
do a
mom.
good job though of these kids showing how fatigued and exhausted they are because they're
Yeah.
not getting any sleep. The La Llorona is attacking them and is constantly haunting them, and they do a good job of putting the bags, especially under the younger boy's face. Like his
Yeah.
eyes are super baggy. I thought that was pretty good.
I like that. And then they also, when they're in the shelter, that was effective.
I like how Carlos too was he was the younger brother, but he was the leader. You could tell he was kind of the man. He's like he looked out for his older brother, like, and they're only a couple years apart. It looks like.
Yeah.
Do you notice that? And like he was easier to be possessed, the older boy, Tomas or whatever.
Tomas.
Yeah. And then he goes into the hallway. That was pretty effective. You gotta admit that was pretty scary.
Yeah, because I mean he does lead his brother outside of the room.
Yeah.
And
He's like,
he
"Tomas,
keeps stopping
Tomas."
at every end of the hallway.
Yeah.
And the lights dim and he's following him. He waits for him to follow, takes another turn. Waits for him to follow, take another turn. His name is Oliver Alexander. I liked him. He did pretty good being the little Carlos.
Oh, he pulled it
He
off.
looked like a very traditional little Mexican kid. I loved him.
Yeah,
I
he's
was
a cute little
"Aw."
kid. And then he was effective too when finally she does catch up in the mirror. I thought that was really good. And then turns around and he had the best
He
scream
looked
and look on his face.
scared.
That was legit. I was like, that kid fucking pulled that off.
Yeah.
And that was awesome. How hard would that have been? That would have been difficult, but he did a really good job. And I was impressed. I was like, whoa, that set the tone
He's
for the movie.
zoned into his scary monster, what was scary, and he really fucking showed it.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I like those kids. Now imagine having those kids as the main kids being haunted. I think would have been better.
Yeah, because like you go through, Sam is very fucking oblivious to everything that's happening around her. Although she's seeing this lady, she doesn't look as terrified as she should be. Like, even if I wasn't familiar, if I saw a fucking creepy thing trying to give me a shower or a bath, I would be terrified the rest of the time. I wouldn't be fucking just like cruising along, just listening. I get that she's young, but come on. You see a monster, it's not going to affect you.
I'd be fucked up.
And then
I wouldn't take a bath ever again. I would have fucking stink ass my whole life.
Chris looks a little bit more upset, and I think that they used his character to fill in the plots where at times they was like, what is she doing? What is she doing? He was coming up with the answers, and I was like, how does he know?
Yeah.
I thought none of them had heard of La Llorona, and all of a sudden he's like, she's coming for us. She's gonna drown her. He was just filling in and telling them what was happening, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was weird.
But you see, they fucking... So the kids are taken, they're gone. Anna gets a call that the kids are dead.
Yeah.
And they go check it out, and she takes her kids with her.
And how fucking terrible would you fucking feel?
Oh,
they
I would
died?
be beating myself up because you promised them, and in your head, you thought you were taking them from a bad situation and putting them into a safe situation, and now they're dead in a fucking canal.
Fuck. Yeah.
How do you
I'll
look-
even admit that was pretty hard for me to watch. I'm like, holy shit.
How do
dude.
you look at the mom and say, hey, I took your kids from you,
Yeah.
and now they're dead?
And if she's a prime suspect, why bring her to the crime scene?
Yeah.
It looked like the cops had her in custody and brought her, but she wasn't. She was with the church because she has an alibi later. The cop, Officer Cooper, that's barely in this movie. He could have been a rando, but they kind of made him like a main character.
I think he's the same guy that was in iZombie. That zombie show.
And
on
I
Netflix.
think he's in Dracula 2000.
Okay.
But anyways, she has an alibi. The church, there's people from the church that were with her at the time. But dude, how the fuck? Why would they bring her to the crime scene if they think she was a prime suspect for this?
Well, I was confused. I didn't even know that they were considering her a suspect. I thought when they
Somehow she
detained
did
her
it.
when
yeah.
she attacked Anna and they took her kids, I thought they really believed that she was the one harming them, and that they would have kept her, detained her for longer than a few hours, because that happened in the same day.
Which was weird. It made it look like it was longer, but yeah, I guess it did happen the same day.
Yeah, because they took him. It was their first night at the shelter.
Yeah.
And then now they're done.
Yeah. So how, if they detained her, how the fuck would they have...
Did they detain her for a few hours and then released her?
Yeah.
Like, that was it?
Because they made it, it was kind of confusing. Like, it makes it sound like maybe they just took the kids from her. They didn't arrest her, even though they would have arrested her because she had a hammer and ready to pound and
the kids had bruises and those burn marks. Yeah. And if they really thought it was her,
she would be facing a little bit of jail time.
Longer. Yeah, so here's her kids. They bring her out here. And man, Anna just needed a better support system. I would have not brought my kids to a scene in the middle of the night.
It made it look like she didn't have friends.
Anyone, yeah.
Which was kind of like, oh, fuck. But she did have support because she had a whole support. They made it look like, at least with the cop that escorted her to Patricia. Patricia.
Patricia's house?
Yeah, her house. The cop was there, and he references, oh, would you out of respect for your late husband, and made it sound like there is a support system, but she's not utilizing it.
Yeah,
and Cooper comes over with dinner and has
like
dinner
friends.
with them. Yeah, but then that's it. It's very shallow.
Why
you would think she would drop it off with at least one of the her husband's cop friends, like
his
wife.
Family. If he was really Hispanic, like I'm assuming his family would be there to be like, hey, your husband or son is, or
where are they at?
Your whoever he was, son, cousin, whatever, his dad will help you with the kids because they're very family oriented.
Explain where that. Are they in Mexico? Like, is he the only one that made it over to the States? Like, explain something, because that is weird.
And where her? She doesn't have family either.
Yeah, that's weird to me. They didn't explain shit.
Yeah, I get it. It was like their introduction to the monster.
Yeah. To move the story along, which I will say, this scene where they're at the crime scene and then the boy wanders out, very believable. I'm like, because I put myself in that kid's shoes, I'd be trying to scope that shit out.
You would.
I'm like, nosy. Oh fuck, what's going on? And then Patricia, you don't know, but she stares at him and she secretly is like praying to La Llorona, which she admits later.
Oh, when they drive by.
Yeah, and just praying that she comes and takes Anna's kids instead of her own and gives her kids back. But
which I didn't know effective, that was a thing that you can pray to her, because she's not.
I think they took liberties with this, but in that alley, how effective was that? Like, he turns around and hears the weeping lady, and she's weeping, and he's like, "What the fuck?" and gets close, and then her head like creepily turns to him.
It was like,
yeah, and then fucking gets up close, and then she disappears, and then she's right there and grabs him and burns him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was fucking badass. And then he runs to the car, and this is by far my favorite scene of the whole movie, and it freaked me out. It was creepy.
Oh, yeah.
When he's in the car, and then he's locking the doors trying to make sure, and it's a big station wagon. So it's a big car, and then he's like looking out his window, and she was there, and then she's not, and then it's quiet, and then turns around, and then slowly is rolling down the window by his sister, and he's like, fuck, and runs to that. Like, it's a trope, an old school trope, but how effective was that? I was like, holy shit. And then he has to go to each window and try to like stop her from getting in.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good, really effective, and what a great introduction to these kids. To La Llorona. I'm like, holy shit. Even though his sister didn't realize what was going on, appeared that she didn't see.
She was asleep when he got there.
It was kind of not in and out, even though she was seeing these windows roll down by themselves.
She wasn't thinking about it.
She wasn't freaked out. He was freaked out. He's like, what the fuck? I thought that was pretty good.
The thing, their mom gets back to the car. He doesn't say anything.
Well, I think he's like, what the fuck did I just see? Like, I don't know what's going on. He thought he was crazy because later when she's tucking him in, she's like, everything okay? He's like, yeah, I think my imagination was just going a little crazy.
No.
So he was even like, I don't know what the fuck just happened, because he doesn't know the culture, because he doesn't know who the weeping lady is.
Or is this him protecting, like trying to protect his mom and not say too much to scare her? Because now their dad is gone, and later on she's like, I'm so proud you protect your sister, you protect me. So
I truly think he just didn't want to like come off as crazy.
Okay.
Like, nobody's gonna believe me.
Yeah. But
Because later she does say, like, I believe you. Like, yes. And when his sister's like being drowned in the tub.
and when La Llorona grabs his hand, she does say, she's like, I'm going to stay with you forever.
Fuck. Oh, she says that?
In Spanish, yes.
Oh,
so
shit.
him not knowing, he didn't know what the fuck that meant.
Yeah.
Where
How intense of a fucking, I'm going to stay with you forever. That would freak me out.
yeah, she's like, me voy a quedar contigo para siempre. And then fucking burns him. And then the next day is when they're having this sort of like a vigil or something for the kids at the church, next to the church. It wasn't inside the church.
Yeah.
And there's all these people, and then we get introduced to Rafael. He's cleansing some of the people.
Yeah.
And Anna gets there, and
They call it smudging.
That's what he calls it, yeah. And the father kind of breaks down. He's like, that's Rafael. He's a curandero. He removes bad spirits. Blah, 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 blah. And she's like, you're cool with this? Like, do you believe in whatever he's doing?
Doesn't matter what I think. They think that.
Yeah. And then she comes in, and then she's asking questions about La Llorona. Because finally Patricia says it.
Yeah, she's like, hey man, La Llorona is coming and you fucked it up. It's your fault.
Oh yeah, when she accuses that it's her fault.
You
her kids
killed
are
my
dead.
kids. Yeah.
And she's like, who is it? And she says, and that's when he's like, oh, I haven't heard that name in forever. There's a legend about La Llorona. And then he kind of does the background story on her very quickly.
It does the deposition dump, but it's not a big one. It's very brief.
Yeah. And so right now, this is where he leaves it. Just her very brief backstory. And then he tries to give her like a
rosary or whatever?
No, it's a little medallion. And she's like, oh, I'm not religious. That was my husband.
That was my Mexican husband was super religious.
Yeah. And then they go back home, and then you start seeing that now they are the target because Sam hears it first. She hears the whipping and the crying again, just very oblivious. She's playing in her fucking built-in pool in her backyard.
Right.
And then that one was pretty effective too.
Oh, when she opens the umbrella and then sees her, I thought that was cool. Lifts up. I wish she would have done that a couple times. Like lift it up, lift it down. And you're like, what the fuck am I seeing? And then all of a sudden lift up, but then the wind blows it. I thought that would have been more effective if they just did that a little bit longer. Because when it does blow and then it eventually slowly goes into the pool, I'm like, oh shit. I thought she would pull her into the pool. I think pulling her into the pool would have been more effective, but she just grabs her instead.
Maybe she has to mark them first before,
But at least mark them, but pull her in. You know what I mean? I thought that would have been a pretty cool, like more dramatic of a scene if they did that.
I guess it was effective that she did mark them when they were both close to big bodies of water.
Yeah, exactly.
So she's marked. She doesn't know. But then the thing is, she's burnt and she doesn't say anything to her mom either. I get that Chris said he thought he was seeing things, but they didn't tell what her reasoning was for not telling her mom that.
Yeah, like clearly had burns.
Huge burn on her arm now.
Rash, yeah.
And then this is where the scene where the cop friend, he shows up, he's asking, and he's like, fine, you don't want to talk about your personal life. Can you look at these files from Patricia? We're trying to understand, like, if she was really involved, if she was not involved.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, I don't think she wants to talk to me. She blames me, and he's like, oh, angry people talk.
Yeah.
But he leaves her file, which are cops allowed to do that? Just give you files on.
I don't know if they are. I don't know if that's
or
like
maybe
procedure.
Because she's for working with the department and the social services. Maybe.
Yeah, and her husband's a cop, so like they have a better relationship than regular people. But yeah, I don't know. So they're doing that, and it's 70s cop thing. So
and then
I kind of get it.
He leaves. So the thing that was funny here is she's flipping through the pictures in the file and notices the burn marks. Bitch, you talked to these kids in person at the shelter
and seen
you
them.
Don't remember, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, there's this burn marks on the kids, and she starts hearing noises downstairs, like the opening, which was pretty effective because there's a lot of, I don't know, I'm pretty big on locking our doors.
Yeah, me too.
Biana's big on locking. You are too. And there's just all this doors swinging and creaking in her house. So they're building up to the suspense. And then we see a pretty, I guess, creepy scene where Chris is the one opening and shutting the door.
Yeah, but
he's
then,
like in a trance.
And then when she pulls her away, she's like, "Oh my God, you're sleepwalking." And then he kind of comes to, but then the door opens regressively while that chain lock is on. And then all of a sudden, boom, it blows open. I thought that was crazy. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, so that was pretty effective too. And then the other scene that was also creepy, and this is, I think, where some of the comments were saying that it was predictable jump scares. Because
predictable, yes, but effective. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
She's upstairs putting Chris to bed, and then Sam's downstairs doing the same thing. And I'm like, you just had this happen with downstairs.
You see the mirror again, and it starts cracking, and it has her face, and then all of a sudden she's behind her. I thought that was pretty cool.
It cracks all the mirrors. That's kind of cool.
But so, are those mirrors permanently done, or is that just like imagination?
They didn't show them after, did they? They didn't focus on him, so I don't know.
Because I'd be pissed having to keep getting new mirrors.
Yeah. And then the thing that I didn't see, like I don't know. She saw the door moving, but she didn't approach it right away. She waited until she saw the reflection to try to go and save her kid.
Yeah.
And then, so the kids, like, all of a sudden they wake up. They didn't see anything. So at this point, La Llorona's introducing herself to Anna. Now Anna's seeing, moreover.
Yeah.
And the kids come in, and she's so freaked out.
And she's not marked. She's not marked yet at that point, right?
No, and it's something we would do, too. It's like, oh, you're scared we're all sleeping in the same room tonight.
Yeah. So this movie's going, for me, the pacing's fast, but it's not terribly bad. I don't mind it. It's going. It's moving.
Yeah. And then, so it looks like Anna was up all night, and she finally... At this point, she's freaked out enough that
she doesn't know what to do.
Needs to go talk to Patricia and be like, is this the shit that she was mumbling about? And Patricia's like so proud of herself. She's like, I didn't fucking pray to God. I prayed to La Llorona to take your kids for mine. So she did some fucking swap deal with La Llorona, which I was like, okay, I don't think that's going to work for you, ma'am.
Right. But she's desperate. She just lost her kids. But then, quickly, Anna's like, oh, I got to go to the church. Let's see if that works. That doesn't work. So he's like, nah, man, it's going to take too much time. Catholic Church has to do the investigations. There's a whole process. It's procedural.
And he drops in Annabelle.
And then that's when they do the Annabelle thing. Whatever. We talked about that. And then he's like, dude, you got to go see my boy Ramon. Raphael.
Wrong R.
You gotta go see Raphael. This guy's fucking off the books. He used to believe in God. He used to be a priest, but now he's not. He's a curandero.
He didn't agree. He doesn't like the church. Yeah. And what the church imposes, it was too restrictive. He wanted to do more of his flow, is what
more
I got
of the
from
extreme kind of stuff. So then,
and not go through the regulations. Yeah. You gotta go to the Vatican.
Yeah, so then they go to his little store, and they got that traditional Mexican music playing, and then it looks, everything's kind of slapped together. But we also see Raphael later goes to the Patricia, her apartment, and gets the tears were left over, and it was goo, and and he puts it's like tar, and he puts it into a little container, saves it, which is going to play an effect later. But anyways, he's like, he sees them. He's like, I can't help you, white lady.
They look at a place.
Yeah, he's like, I've seen you before. You were at the funeral.
And her too. She's like, oh, immediately. He says something and she's like, oh, I think we're in the wrong place. Bitch, you're desperate. The church won't help you.
Well,
nobody else will help you.
And he's like, why are you here? Just to gawk at my stuff? Just to, make fun of what I believe in? And she's like, no, I want your help, but obviously I'm not in the right spot. And then the kid, she's like, please help me. Because he looks down and he sees the marks on her and him and even the mom.
And it's funny.
And he's like, you know what? He had a soft spot. He's like, okay.
Well, before that, he's like, that's church stuff. And she's like, no, they sent us here. And he's like, no, that's church stuff. And then that's when the kid, that's all it takes is just fluttering her eyelashes. And she's like, please.
Desperate, help me. And then he's like, okay, come here. And then he kind of explains more about La Llorona, how he hasn't directly been witnessed her, but he's seen her work. And So he starts doing that, getting his bag. He's getting things together. He's like, you know what? We got to leave now, though. We got to go back to your house. She's like, well, I'll just take the kids. We'll stay at a hotel. He's like, why? He's like, she didn't attach herself to the house. She attached it to you and your kids.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, shit. He's like, we have to go to your house now, and grabs it. I don't know where they got all these candles, because that didn't fit into his little satchel that he had.
They bought out the fucking store.
They got the Winco collection.
Well, before they do all of that, that's when he does his egg stuff. He doesn't even cleanse them. He's just trying to figure out how attached La Llorona is to them, he says.
Yeah.
And he cracks one of the eggs. He prays through it.
So they're doing, and I thought that was funny. So that's why we're gonna do it to Orlando Marie and everybody. I'm just rubbing with eggs, and then
Before you come into our house.
which Anna is skeptical. She's like, "What the fuck? This is stupid."
I saw that trick on TV.
Yeah, I've saw this. Bitch, you just saw La Llorona. Like, she's fucking.
You really that has it. Yeah, you're not gonna believe right now.
I thought that was kind of a stupid thing, part of this movie. And he's like, oh, really? And then he cracks it open. And this is, even he's surprised. He's like, holy shit, there's a lot of evil in this house. And then she's like, I've seen that trick before. And then all of a sudden the eggs lift up and they start spinning.
And then they point straight up.
Yep. And then they explode and bam, a money shot all over Anna's face.
And then Rafael, all serious. Ta-da.
Yeah, very deadpan. Ta-da. I was like, oh, fuck,
Like,
that was good.
You think it's funny? It's a fucking trick, bitch.
But yeah, that money shot, dude, just completely all over. And she's like, oh my God. And you know that dribble on her eye, like she could barely open it.
Nobody laughs at his jokes either.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh, fuck, that's hilarious.
Yeah, and then they decide, apparently La Llorona likes to be in the dark, so they're going to light up the house with candles, which I'm like, okay.
Well, is that spiritually too, though? The
One
candle?
thing, is LA really that rainy? Because they have...
Yeah, so their winter time is a very heavy rainfall.
Oh, so this was set in, they must have set it in the winter in order for it to be this wet.
Yeah, spring, winter maybe. I don't know. They don't really specify what time of year it is.
Okay. But yeah, so they're like, we're going to put candles everywhere. And I was like, candles blow out easy. I don't know.
Yeah, but there's hundreds. They got hundreds of these candles.
I know that candles are used in rituals and stuff, but...
I do want to say one thing before the candles are lit. He is making the breakfast. You mentioned this earlier.
Yeah.
And how he just, whatever he called it.
She's like, are you asking if that was another ritual? He's like, yeah, it's breakfast. He's like, comida for the soul or some shit
it's
like
comfort.
that.
But he doesn't even, my pet peeve is he doesn't even get to eat it. He makes it and then it happens.
I made a note about it. He's making his breakfast. He's like, we're going to eat to get nourishment before what's to come. And then they just like, he starts making his scrambled eggs and then immediately they hear noises.
Yeah, he's like, oh shit.
I was like,
so what's he do?
ate.
They don't show it. They just throw it away. Like, fuck.
You're concerned that it's going to rot.
Motherfucker. Now they're fighting La Llorona on an empty stomach, man.
They're going to run out of energy soon.
Exactly.
And he introduces them to...
Which I think they could have done a better job because this is all happened in a couple days. It seemed like it was happening longer to the other boys because we don't even see the baggy eyes on these kids or on the mom. They're not exhausted.
Mm-mm.
Doesn't look like it to me, at least.
No. And then, so he's doing this thing, and then by now they...
Is this the best part of the movie, though? I feel like, and everybody's like, oh, they rushed this. I think this is the best because you got about 38 minutes of this
them fighting
the climax. I thought this was the best part of the movie. I really enjoyed it.
I mean...
They could have did a little bit better, more detail, but honestly, I was satisfied. I thought it was pretty good. You get a lot of La Llorona. You get a lot of action happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was pretty good.
He introduces them to a very important tool, which I didn't know. The cross that he pulls out, that's going to be their big
What was the
weapon.
tree that witnessed her drowning her kids?
The fire tree, el árbol del fuego.
Yeah.
He said it's a cross, and this is where he plugs in more of the story. It's a cross that was carved out of el árbol del fuego, or the fire tree, from Mexico, and it says that the trees wept in fire when La Llorona drowned her kids. And to me,
that was pretty good.
She wasn't like a powerful person, though. She was supposed to be a regular person who just drowned her kids.
But
why did the trees have to go up on fire?
They witnessed something like epic. Like, yes, she was a nobody, but they witnessed something so horrific that it caused this. That it caused the trees to weep.
I have two problems with that. There's been way worse shit that has happened in the world than a lady drowning her kids, like genocides and wars and experimenting on people that fucked them up and gave them deformities and just tragically deaths, way more tragic than this, not putting her story down. I'm like, why isn't the entire world fucking with fire trees?
Yeah.
And they're making it seem like, oh my God, what she did was horrific. But there's other worse things in comparison.
We're criticizing hard on this movie like we hate it. I do not hate this movie. I enjoyed it.
Just this story. And the thing with Patricia praying to her.
Yeah.
It's
an interesting take. I think they took creative liberty on that.
Big liberty. Like, she's not a demon. Was she a demon? Not that I saw. I thought she was just a ghost.
I think she was. She was like converted to a demon. She was sent to roam the earth the rest of her life. Yeah.
But she didn't come from hell or anything.
Yeah.
She wasn't one of Satan's knights.
But was it? It was a dark spirit, man. Like, it had to come somewhere.
Like, to me, she was never a demon. She was a ghost that would take you.
Yeah.
An evil ghost, but she wasn't like on the same realm of like the devil.
Yeah.
Or like any other cursed demon. Or like the demons.
She made those huevos
black.
Yeah.
She went forget blue balls. She went black balls. But so that was the thing. I was like, why are you praying to her? Like, I don't know. Traditionally religious, you pray to someone who's powerful. I didn't think she was powerful. The story to me is she is cursed.
Okay, here's
find
my
her
thing.
kids, and on the way she takes other kids.
Here's my take on Patricia praying to her. I think what happened was she was desperate. She just lost her kids. She even mentioned, she's like, I just took it upon myself to pray. Like, this wasn't a thing. She just did it, and she surprised herself. She's like, and it worked. I prayed her to take your kids, and it worked. So I think this was something new. This wasn't something talked about. I think she did it, and it just coincidentally worked. You know what I mean? I think that's what happened. I don't know. I thought it was pretty good.
Again, I think this is, for me, it's a cultural thing. I like the movie; it's scary, but I feel they rate different, like the story and then the scary movie.
I know, it's the way they marketed it and positioned it. Just make it a story of it. It didn't really even necessarily have to be La Llorona. It could have been something else.
It could have been the children.
Yeah.
Just stick to the children.
Yeah, and it could have similarities, but
yeah.
Yeah, what you're saying.
Anyway, so there's this, apparently it was horrific, so now this tree is powerful again. Against her, I guess it would make sense, but this is gonna be their big weapon. So La Llorona, the thing that was cool and scary is they're waiting for her to come.
I love that Raphael used them as bait.
Yeah.
He's, because the boy's like, you used me as bait. He's like, no, I used all of you as bait.
Bitch.
I was like, oh shit.
He was keeping it real, man.
Yeah, but he had to, because that was the only way to get her, because he ends up putting the seeds of the tree as a barrier
to get her out.
Yeah, the only way to get her in the house was them, and he had to perfectly time it to where she was trying to take one of the kids and cut off that barrier and shut the door and put the barrier. That was the only way to do it.
Yeah, and he told him, he's like, all of you motherfuckers, but guess what? Now she's out of the house and we're fine.
Yeah, it was hilarious. They're like, now you're safe. But then I thought the barrier was going to serve as the whole house. But
they
no, the back door. It's like, why didn't you do that ahead of time?
Like, shut the main doors, put barriers on them.
Yeah.
And then leave a couple of them, one open.
Yeah.
And this is going to be the entry and exit way for everybody.
Yeah. I did like, and I'm kind of bouncing all over, but when she first came to the house, when they're all downstairs and the candles go out, you hear her just like doing the Vienna stomp, heavy stomp.
I know.
And just boom, boom, boom. They're like, what is she doing? And Raphael was like, she's searching. And searching for what? And then the boy's like, us.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, he's filling the spots. I did like that they really showed like, oh no, where is she? And they have that one last lamp with them.
Yeah.
And
why didn't that lamp go out?
Because it's enclosed.
Oh,
it's an oil lamp.
Oh, I get it. And yeah, it's like Alien style where it's above them and then you just see it dripping, kind of like when Alien, the acid drips.
Yeah.
It was her tears. I thought it was pretty effective.
Yeah.
And then they look up and it was like epic.
I like when she's trying to grab the kids, right, and take them out. And they're like, Raphael, help us. And he steps back. So he's like,
so this is where he had to let it play out. It made it portray like, oh, he didn't know what to do. And he wasn't going to help. He was scared or whatever. But it wasn't. That was the plan. He needed her to like show herself and leave. So he had to let.
Yeah, he timed it. He was by the door waiting for that.
But how cool of a scene was that? I thought that was pretty good when the kids, and yeah, it's obvious, but the kids were under the table. And then you just see they're focused dead on straight, right? They're looking straight ahead. And then behind the tablecloth is slowly going up. And then they look behind them like, oh shit. And they're looking that way. And then the tablecloth slowly going up. And they finally realize it. So they get from underneath. And then you see her and she's wearing the tablecloth. I thought that was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that was good. The suspense.
Yeah, it was really good because I could put myself in their shoes and be like, oh, fuck. I would definitely have the, what do I call that? The anxiety.
Anxiety poops.
Yeah. I'm like, oh God, I gotta poop.
The other thing, again, Sam, they play her to be so oblivious to everything that's happening. Shit's going down. Things are breaking.
Oh my God, how frustrating.
Chris just almost got taken. I lost my doll. Oh, she's outside the door.
So they did paint this because the mom says, well, your dad always said when you're times of turmoil, stress, you grab Misty, the doll, tightly, and everything will be okay.
Bitch,
so that was her
protection seats on the fucking door.
That was her like safety blanket. That was her thing.
This was not the time.
And it was stupid. It's like, forget your fucking doll. I wouldn't get the doll. I'd be like, screw you.
They're trying to like lock the back door because that's the only door open where she's trying to get in. And she is out there. And they tell you she's coming because that chime that Rafael put up starts going. And she's still out there. And this scene took a long time for me because she's stretching. She can't reach in.
And if you're going to get this doll, I would do jump out, grab it, and jump back in.
Put one foot out.
Why fucking struggle like that? I get you're a kid. But as a kid, I would be like, okay, I'll jump over the line, grab that real quick, and jump back in.
Yeah.
Stupid.
But on her way back in, the doll like brushes off some of the seeds.
Yeah.
And her ass gets fucking taken. I was like, that's what you get.
Yeah.
Fuck around.
Yeah.
And the next, so she takes her to the pool, which was so obvious.
Yeah.
Because the entire time she's trying to drown them. That's what she does.
Right.
So to me, this didn't make sense. So Rafael goes out there finally. He's like, oh, I'm going to bless the water. And it's going to be holy water.
No, the mom jumps in to save her.
Yeah.
And it's not working. He's like, oh, fuck, they're not coming up. So
why would
now
he
he's
think
like
that she's going to fight her in her own turf?
But now he's like, oh, I got to step in here. And then he gets the idea to do that. I'm okay with that decision because then he blesses it. And then he's like, now your pool is full of holy water.
He could have done that from the beginning.
Yeah, but he wasn't thinking. I think it was just pure shock. He's like, oh, fuck, I better do something.
I know, but they're arriving to the house. The Llorona's coming to get them. They're setting up. He could have been like, oh, you have a giant pool in the back? Let me go bless it to make sure, because this is what she's going to use most likely to kill your kids if she tries to take him out.
Or did he go in the backyard? Did he know they had a pool?
Well, did no one tell her that that's what happened? She takes the kids and drowns them? Because I would have been like, oh, hey, let me go empty my pool.
Get rid of the bodies of water. I guess that's true.
She could have emptied that pool. She could have been like, oh, shit. Like, she heard this story a couple times already.
But did they have time to do that? I don't know how long it would take.
I would have been like, my back pool is a lot closer than the canal. Maybe I have some time.
Yeah.
And so then she makes it out. And at this point, at the beginning, her kids, they gave her a necklace, a really pretty necklace. And when Anna comes from the pool with Sam. She has the necklace.
Oh, Maria La Llorona, her kids gave her
yeah,
the
a necklace at the start of
Yeah.
the movie. So she has that. And Anna took it from her, and Rafael, he's like, oh, maybe we can use it against her
Well,
later.
he's like, keep that on you. Maybe you can use it.
Yeah, so they go back inside the house. They have all the doors closed. And then this is where you said it does a full circle where Anna puts her kids now in the closet, like Patricia had hers,
Yeah.
and locks them in there. And they're like, yeah, it's fine, Mom. Just lock us in here.
Patricia know this happened? Because now she just perfectly times it. And how do they not know her arriving into the house?
Why were that house fucking unlocked?
Yeah, you would have the house locked, and they were sitting in the dining room. You have a full view of the door that you walk through because the door's wide open.
Yeah.
How'd you not fucking know that she goes up there into the closet? And then how come these kids, when they first see her, aren't screaming for the mom and Raphael to... like, hey, help, help, help. They don't do it until finally they get to the doorway. And then Chris is like, Mom, help.
Yeah, because they
that to me wasn't very effective.
because Rafael said to nail the back door, right? So that one was shut.
But the front door wasn't.
Why wasn't it locked?
Fucking crazy. I don't know.
I know La Llorona can't get in because of the seeds, but you got other people like Patricia that could just walk in.
Yeah. And Patricia, she shows up perfect timing. I
You
was
thought
like,
it was La Llorona, huh?
Yeah, and then she's still pissed, she's scorned, so she fucking breaks the barrier, and now La Llorona, Maria, is going in and grabs, and she ends up taking
yelling
them
at
out.
her. She's like, here they are, take them.
Yeah, so then Anna's like, my kids, and she gets launched, and La Llorona drags her into and throws her down the basement, shuts the door, she can't get out, and then now she starts slowly walking towards the kids, which before was pretty quick. She would just drag them out. But now they're letting the kids run up the stairs. They're checking all the doors, and they go up to the basement the attic, and they're hiding. I thought that was a pretty good thing. But this is where the sheer dumb luck, like he grabs the necklace, Chris does. And this is where now La Llorona now is back to her normal form because she sees the necklace.
Did it remind her of her kids and it brought her some humanity
So that was
back?
kind of the interpretation I got, because now she's looking at it, but then he accidentally is sitting on the cloth that's covering a mirror, and when that mirror opens, that reminds her who she is, and she screams and starts freaking out.
Her face with her black gooey tears.
Yeah, and she's ready to take. But then Raphael,
Anna.
Also, Patricia also fucking shot Raphael in the shoulder, so he's all wounded.
Yeah, so then...
And I guess that's why the kids were being quiet when she took him, because she had him at gunpoint, even though it doesn't show it because that's extreme. So I kind of get it, but at the same time,
I know. So they're up there. Raphael tries to be the hero. La Llorona launches him, and then it has to be the mom. So she grabs the cross.
Well, he slides the cross to her, and he's like, you know what? Vaya con Dios.
And La Llorona's coming in hot. Rafael or Anna walks up to her and just stabs her in the chest with it.
Yeah.
And then she turns into goo and flies everywhere. And then poof.
I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
She melts, decays. It was pretty good. And then, that's at the end is my favorite part. He's like, ta-da. Raphael did.
When they destroy her.
I was like, that's fucking awesome. I thought that was good.
Funny. And then at the end where he's getting in the taxi and he's ready to go home.
He's like, damn, man, I was scared at times.
Because
They're
he's
like,
telling
really?
the kids. Yeah. He's like, you guys did great.
Even I was scared at times. They're like, really? He's like, no.
No.
And then at the end, it's like it's going to be a sequel because there's a body of water, but it doesn't show La Llorona. It's just Anna seeing her reflection, and then it's like bing, and then it stops.
Please don't let it be a sequel.
Yeah. If they do, they better do a better job at it, which I don't think. Obviously, it's been, 40 years now? 5 years?
It's going to be a prequel by Guillermo del Toro.
I'm cool with a prequel. But yeah, that's the movie. Now, now that we talked about this extensively, has your opinion of the movie changed?
No.
Wow. What would you rank this movie?
I have 2 rankings for this movie.
You have 2?
I have 2 rankings.
Okay. Let's hear it.
I told you. I have like the movie overall. Let me get it's supposed to be La Llorona out of my head. And it's a pretty jumpy movie. It's a good movie. It's scary.
Pulling her punch.
Like a 2.5 or 3. The scares were good. The anticipation was good. The suspense was there. The monster was ugly and scary. But man, the whole fucking cultural thing, that's the only thing that I'm like, you guys just
So 1
slapped it
rating, what
on.
would you give it?
1 rating, a 2.
You give it a 2?
2.5, 2.
Be real. What
Be
is your...
real. 2.
Give it a 2? Okay.
I don't know. I like the scares.
Yeah.
It just takes away for me because I know this story.
You give it a 2. And then there wasn't many kills in this. You got the 2 boys. You got 4 boys altogether.
You didn't see any of them.
No, there really wasn't any deaths
La
except
Llorona.
La Llorona. So you can't really say.
Who would you be?
Nah. Dude,
Maybe you were a character.
Dude, I think I would be Carlos.
Oh, the little boy.
Yeah. But so yeah, no, I think my ratings, honestly, you give it a 2, I'm giving it a 3.
Okay.
I enjoyed this movie, and I'd be a little bit higher on it, but since you gave me the kind of the background on La Llorona, I get that side of it. That's what's keeping me from giving it a 4.
Really?
Is it got a whole point knocked off because of that.
Wow.
I don't think it deserves a 5 because they could have went more, and even the character depth, it's borderline. I battled between 2.5 and 3, but I'm giving it a 3 because it was effective and it was pretty good storytelling. And I compare it to It Follows, and this is a superior film.
You and fucking every movie, every episode. I thought we're gonna be done like 5 episodes ago.
It Follows as a barometer for me. So is it above the It Follows? Absolutely. So I give it a 3. I enjoyed this movie. I think it was pretty good.
Okay.
All right. It looks like Vienna's here with her review corner. Let me plug in her mic.
Dun, dun, dun,
We'll be
dun.
right back. Parents, are your kids ignoring you, breaking rules, acting like they run the house? At Laguna's Little Listeners Academy, we specialize in turning chaos into calm, one haunting lesson at a time.
Inspired by the legend of La Llorona, our academy brings centuries of wisdom to modern childcare. We don't just teach kids to listen, we ensure it.
That's because at Laguna's, discipline isn't just a concept, it's a calling. Our founder, Miss Maria, knows all about managing spirited kids.
At Lagunas, your kids will enjoy enriching activities like river safety drills, silent story time, and our crowd favorite, Whose Cry Is It Anyways?
And if your little angel decides to act up, don't worry, Miss Maria will handle it. One whispered, "Donde están mis hijos?" And suddenly, they're cleaning their rooms, doing their homework, and saying please and thank you like model citizens.
But don't think it's all discipline. We also focus on fun. Kids will enjoy snacks like blessed duvalines, mazapanes, and arts and crafts including build your own barrier of salt.
And parents, rest easy knowing your kids are safe in our creek-proof, ghost-protected facilities. After all, we love children, just not near the water.
So if your kid won't listen to you, send them to us at Laguna's Little Listeners Academy. We guarantee they'll behave, or at least pretend to.
Call Laguna's Little Listeners Academy today, because sometimes it takes a legend to teach a lesson.
Mis hijos. Hello. Oh, sorry.
What are we doing?
I was zoning out. How are you doing today?
Okay.
Okay.
What segment are we in?
I don't know.
No, it's Angelus. What segment?
Hello. We are into Viona's review corner.
Oh my God. Again,
All right.
36 episodes in.
We got to restart.
Okay, ready? Scratch
That's
that.
hilarious. Okay, let's restart.
Okay.
And 1, 2.
Welcome back, everyone.
Okay.
It's your favorite time of the episode, Vienna's review corner.
All right.
Woohoo!
Better.
Hi, Vienna.
Hi.
Yeah, how you
Sorry.
doing, Vienna?
Do you guys know how to do this? Or
This episode's been crazy. It's been fun though. Could you hear us upstairs?
no?
Oh man, we took a different approach. It's been fun.
It's all over the place. Viana, you've watched La Llorona.
Mm-hmm.
How did you like this movie?
It was okay.
It was okay?
Yeah.
What did you like and not like about it?
Well, I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know.
Okay. Are you familiar with this story?
Yeah.
Okay. What story did you hear?
When did you first hear of this story?
When I
This
was-
folklore.
Well, they used to like scare me with it, like my mom and my grandma.
What age? What age
Like,
would you say?
6. And they'd be like, yeah, this lady, like for the summary basically, is like she married her husband and then her husband didn't love her anymore and she left him and she got mad and so she like drowned her kids and she felt sorry so she drowned herself. And she's like,
Okay.
and now she takes little kids.
Very depressing. And
Yeah.
where was your thought process when you're that age? Do you remember?
I was like, she's gonna get me.
It's fucked up, dude.
Why would she get you though?
I don't know, because you guys are like, and she gets, like, she'll go out in the towns now, and she takes kids who are out past their bad time or whatever, or something like that, and I was like, she's gonna get me.
Fuck, that's intense.
I told Rachel I traumatized you with strangers at the store too when I was like, when you were little, when you were wondering, I was like, don't go. The man over there is going to take you. And Rachel was like, is that why she doesn't wander on her own now?
Oh, yeah, maybe that's why I need you guys to go everywhere with me.
I know, because you're like, I need a toothbrush. And I'm like, go. And you're like, you come with me.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Or we'll go to the mall and I'm like, Vienna, go wherever you want. And you're like, no.
So what would you rate this movie?
Maybe like a 2.5.
2.5? Okay. So you're in the middle. Your mom gave it a 2. I give it a 3. You're about a 2.5. I think that falls. I think we all kind of have similar things, but I'm kind of high on this movie. I enjoyed it. But again, I don't have the background like you guys had. What was the common conception? Like, what did you see amongst the reviewers?
People didn't really like it,
Okay.
is what I've heard from like a bunch of people, and then just from looking at these reviews too. Yeah,
People weren't high on it.
No.
Okay. What are some things that people were saying?
Someone said the curse of overexploiting franchises until they start releasing terrible movies like this one.
Nailed it.
And then someone else said an incredible piece of folklore given the famously uneven and often mediocre James Wan treatment.
I agree.
This could have been special, but it's just another pretty looking jump scare movie.
Mm-hmm. I agree on that.
Someone else said the real curse was that the kid screams like Kevin from Home Alone.
What the fuck?
That's true.
Oh, the Chris and Sam.
Someone said, guess what? Yep, I love this one too. I like that it's the side story in the Conjuring universe. Probably not even a Conjuring movie. Just Annabelle thrown in there to say, hey, look at audience. It connects. Whatever. Don't care. Love it. Nasty little spirit that likes to cry and kills kids. What's not to like?
A
Honest-
nasty little
Honest
spirit.
commentary, and I respect it. I respect that.
Someone said, cash grab bait for the Hispanic audience. And then
Not even for the Hispanic audience.
It was for me. That's the only reason I watched it, because I was like,
Oh.
oh, La Llorona.
But they
Sorry, Vienna.
bastardized it. Sorry, Vienna.
No,
we
you're
were
okay.
like, well, we have feelings about this.
and then doesn't even have the decency to let a Latino be the protagonist. Way to go, guys. Slow way to
Preach.
go.
Preach, dude.
I heard you guys. You were getting a little like, she's not even Latina. Da-da-da-da.
Dude, you gotta admit, Vienna, like, do you see yourself in that character?
Wait, what do you
Like, as far as culture and everything, do you see yourself in that? Like, I feel like, because you have a Hispanic family.
Like-
This family does not operate like a Hispanic family. And I'm not saying it has to be that
Yeah,
way,
no.
but, you know,
I would get if like they made her like it was like passed down like the story like generations.
yeah, but
like
she at
ours.
least knew it.
Yeah.
But
she had no
she-
idea. The
yeah.
kids had no idea.
No.
Yeah.
Their dad failed at scaring them with La Llorona.
What if he died?
Who?
The dad.
He did die.
Oh,
He
okay.
was a cop and he died.
Yeah.
But I'm saying,
And it would
while
have
he
been
was
better.
alive,
It would have
never
been better
passed
if
down
he,
the
instead
story.
of dying, he got deported. Like, that would have been better.
For sure.
It would have been more
Him and La
common.
Llorona get deported together.
It would have been more common and
In
relatable.
the time, yeah. But he was he was, what do they call it? A successful. He was a cop.
Yes.
But even if he didn't tell the story, you'd imagine his family would have told the
The
story.
family would have been there, and there is no family. That's what's weird.
Someone said, only good thing about this movie was Linda Cardellini.
Mm.
And
She was okay.
Yeah.
And then someone said, I really don't know what to say about this movie because it's so completely forgettable and riddled with so many cliches and dumb characters. And then they said, the scariest part of the movie was when one of the seats near me in the completely empty theater started making sounds and I still didn't know what was going on.
It was like, you're not watching the movie with her.
She was like, this is not me.
They didn't portray me right. This is not my, what do they call them, autobiography?
She's going to throw like tomatoes and popcorn.
No, biographies are written. What
Yeah.
are they when they're in movies?
Documentary.
No.
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about.
Autobiographical. No.
Someone said the curse was having to sit through
Biopic.
the entire movie.
The curse was what?
Having to sit through the entire movie. And then someone else said, firstly, Velma didn't even say jinkies. And secondly, why didn't she just call up her old Mystery Incorporated gang?
For real.
Yeah.
They did show a clip of Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
At the start of the movie, the girl that plays her daughter, Sam, she's watching Scooby-Doo.
that's funny.
Ah.
I remember there was a better movie of this when I was like little. It was like a cartoon one, but it like used to scare me so bad. Like whenever someone
Yeah.
would turn it on, I'd like hide.
But it was for
I would
kids?
start crying. Yeah, it was so terrifying. But
Oh my
yeah,
God.
it was like
That's
supposed to be
funny.
for kids.
That's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. You did watch that. It's this animated series. It's called La Leyenda de La Llorona.
But I feel like it was more rooted because the kids were actually Latino and they lived in Mexico. And she,
It's
like, took
more
their
rich
little
in
sister.
culture in the
Yeah.
background. So if you guys want to watch it, it's a cartoon. It's called La Leyenda de La Llorona. It's on Tubi right now in Amazon Prime.
That's cool.
They had Alegrijes.
Oh yeah.
Remember? And it has, it's very rooted in Mexican actors. So it has Rafael Inclán, Mónica del Carmen, and a bunch of other people. Didn't you say you used to be scared of it?
Yeah.
Were you listening?
I remember you'd be like, oh, let's watch this. And I'd be like, no, don't turn it on. Don't turn it
It's
on.
animated. It's cute.
No, it was scary.
Now, you don't have to talk about it, but Linda Cardellini, was this a childhood crush of yours?
I don't know. What is it?
That was so smooth, Richard.
I think the story is so adorable. It's funny. She's
No,
like,
it's not.
yeah, you're like, you know how I knew I like girls too? Was Velma in her skin tight leather orange outfit,
And the
jumpsuit
movie.
in the movie Scooby Doo 2.
I love it. I was like, oh, the leather suit.
What got you? Was
I
it
don't
just
know.
like, oh my god, the curves,
No.
the bowl cut?
And Richard's like, the bowl cut is not for me.
She didn't have a bowl cut in that scene.
Was
She
it longer?
didn't?
Was it shoulder length?
Yeah, it was like a bump.
Oh, like a 60s style.
She was dressed up.
Oh,
Bell bottom jeans, pants, leather pants.
They were like flat, I think.
No.
and you were just like, whoa. How old were you?
I don't know. 8?
Oh my god. And little did your mom know.
Little did I know, she was like watching Scooby Doo 24/7 on fucking repeat.
That same scene. You really like the scene.
You really like this movie. That's funny.
Oh, that's hilarious. I love it. It was very adorable. Angels, I don't think I've ever asked you, who is your childhood crush?
I don't know.
You don't have any, like, telenovelas?
Yes, all the dudes from the novelas.
The heartthrobs?
All of them? Wow. There wasn't one that stood out.
There's one that to this day, I'm like, oh yeah, you're still okay to the eye.
Wow, he aged well.
He did.
What's his name?
It was
is it?
like, Gael Garcia Bernal. Shout out. Him, I don't know. He was in a bunch of movies, and I don't think he did as many novelas, but now he's still pretty big. No, it was like the traditional. What was his name? Fernando Cologna. It was those dudes that they would put on those soap operas.
I know Maria's crush. Bruce Willis. That is a handsome man.
It was so funny when you realized it, because we were sitting there watching what was the movie.
Oh, fuck. The M. Night Shyamalan movie. Shattered or whatever. That was fucking funny.
Yeah, and then she's just watching him, and you're like, wait a minute. You started connecting the dots.
Hilarious. We got a new take on this. I'm kind of excited, Vienna. I don't know what we're going to watch next. What's in the chamber? This is the first time that I'm hearing this.
Okay, so my mom says something, but I thought you guys agreed on it.
No,
so.
you. Like, I wanted you to
No.
choose. Surprise me. I want to know. I've been dying. I told you not to tell us.
Okay.
So whatever your pick was that you wanted.
Yeah.
What I texted you, I was just kind of throwing stuff out there.
Okay.
Not what we think that you think we'd like, but what? What do you want? I'm excited.
So it's called Inside. It's a French movie, but it's on Tubi right now. So I don't know.
I wish we could. Can we get a picture of Richard? Oh, he's walking out.
Walking out.
What? Do you
No,
want to hear the
Inside?
description? Yeah.
It's called Inside? Yeah, let's hear the synopsis
Okay.
or the
Scarred
thing.
for life after a harrowing near-death experience, emotionally fragile mother-to-be Sarah is still struggling to come to terms with her loss. Overcome with silent grief, Sarah now seeks solace in work. However, she's on a collision course with sheer terror when a knock at the door in the dead of night chills her bones to the marrow. Now, the raven-haired late-night visitor in black wants something precious from Sarah and will stop at nothing to get it.
her kids.
Mm-hmm.
Her kid?
Dang.
But it's set close to Christmas time, I think.
Ooh,
From what I
Christmas
understand.
flick. Okay, I can dig it down. This will be our first French film. The French are they get a little weird sometimes, but
Yeah.
have you seen this before?
No, I heard of it today and I was like, that looks good.
Okay. So excited.
We're all going in blindly.
What's it called? The Inside?
hmm
The inside?
Yeah, the reviews seem pretty good. It has 3.5 overall.
Really?
3.5 out of 10?
Out of 5.
Oh, okay.
So middle ground.
Cool. All right. Does anybody want to plug anything? What's going on? Vienna?
Richard?
I'm good. I'm just look out for the new episode. It's going to be coming out. It'll be number 37. This one's number 36. Holla, holla, holla. Thanks for sticking with us. Angelus, you got anything?
No, senor. Here you go.
Esmeralda. Oh, is that the guy?
Fernando Cologna?
Oh my, he is a handsome dude. I see similarities in me.
Oh, they do a little.
The smoldering face.
The
Oh.
eyes.
All right. Do you have anything to plug?
No.
Okay. Well, let's say our goodbyes.
Hasta
Hasta la
luego,
gosi.
CC.
Ciao, ciao.
Thanks for listening to Horror Cinema Obsession. We hope you had as much fun as we did. If so, help spread the word by leaving a rating and review wherever you listen to podcasts. And join us next time for another episode of Horror Cinema Obsession.